Howdy, gang. I'm a little frustrated. As you can see, the camera does not look right. The lighting's a little messed up. I'm not sure what happened. See, I noticed this gross, motion blur smear effect when I moved my hands around specifically, but it also made it look like my mouth was never moving when I talked. So, the solution I found was to go download the old software I was using, change a setting, because it's not in the new software, and I could uninstall that. I don't see why there isn't just a menu where I can right click on the camera and tweak the shit myself without going through all these programs. Because Logitech has 4 or 5 different programs you can tweak with your webcam, and none of them have all the same features. That really pisses me off, dog. Because all I did was change one thing, and it looked fine when I did it at the time, and then it was crazy dark today, and tried to fix it, and it just doesn't look the same. It's a little too dark, but here we are, in the game. Johanka is on trial for heresy now, and we have to defend her or something. Up on the quest log. And they get witnesses and stuff, and we come back and talk to the inquisitor. I also updated my graphics drivers, so you might see a little lag while shaders are recompiling or something. I don't know. It seems like things are running smoother overall, but they're always hitching for a while whenever I start a new game now. It's really strange. So many confusing things, guys. The Windows update was preventing my GPU drivers from updating. AMD said I should have been on this new driver, and one I had was from at least a year ago at this point. But then you install it, it's they rolled it back because some bullshit, so I had to go disable that. Now I'm on it, but I'm did I make the right decision? Why wasn't it letting me download it? You guys know this is a nice new GPU. Not old hardware or anything. It's not it can't handle the new ones. I was just tired of freaking Unreal Engine games always crashing on me. I was like, oh, maybe I should update my drivers. And it usually fixes things. And, it did not. Oh, speaking of which, I don't think I added it to the list yet, but we got games to talk about, guys. May not forget, but we're going to talk about the Eternal Cylinder later. That game kept crashing on me a lot, and that's specifically what led me to update the thingies.
Brother Nicodemus.
You've heard something?
The Inquisitor has decided that Johanka will be tried, but he's agreed that I can defend her.
That's really quite unusual. It must mean he hasn't come to a clear conclusion yet.
Yes. I'll get her out of it.
I'm afraid it may not be that easy. The thing is, I expect Johanka will say the same things before the court that she's been preaching.
What are you saying?
Well, I've been thinking about what she's been saying, and it seems to me her preaching has a certain progression. Are you acquainted with the notion of the 3 orders of man?
No.
Not really, no. It's like this. It's said that everyone has their God-given place and purpose on earth. Laboratores, oratores, and bellatores. Those who work, those who pray, and those who fight. The common folk are born to work, to reap the fruits of the earth, and to obey the laws of God and man. It is the purpose of the nobles to protect the people and the church against all dangers, and to maintain peace and justice on earth. And the Church, in turn, has the task of caring for the spiritual welfare of all.
Are you telling me that
ensuring the
religion
salvation
enforced
of their souls,
feudalism?
and bringing solace to the people in times of hardship, so that they can endure their earthly trials and enter the kingdom of heaven.
But what's all that got to do with Johanka?
Well, I noticed in her first sermon she primarily addressed the concerns of the common folk, and in the second, she criticized the nobility.
And then she punished me for being a soldier?
Ah. So you think she might start talking about the church?
Yes, I'm afraid she might. I dread to think how that might end up. Henry, you must warn her against that. She must show humility before the Inquisitor, and the wisest course would be to admit to being wrong. She's rather stubborn, but perhaps she'll listen to you.
But the Inquisitor said no one's allowed to see her.
No one except the Inquisitor's own men. You'll just have to think something up. I'm afraid Johanka's fate is mainly in your hands now. I'm relying on you. Take care.
I'm relying on you. That must be the Inquisitor still. Ah, I see. Didn't get his testimony. That was just automatic.
Witnesses can be summoned for Johanka's trial. So I wanted to ask you if you give a testimony. Maybe some learned speech in her defense?
I'd be glad to do it. Johanka deserves my help. Such testimonies could carry a lot of weight. You should try and get as many as you can. See you later.
Oh, the guy's dick she sucked once. Yep. Bath wench Adela. Okay, I can do that. I don't actually need to be on the horse. Adela. Giving out hand jobs to the injured.
God.
Adela, the Inquisitor is going to try Johanka in court.
Oh, Lord. I hope she's acquitted. I was absolutely devastated when they took her away.
I need people to speak in her defense, and I'd like to ask you to do it.
I don't want to go there. Really. I'm afraid of that Inquisitor. But you helped me, and so did Johanka. It's only right that I should try and help her. But what am I supposed to say there? I'm just a simple village girl. I don't know anything about these things.
That doesn't matter. You just be yourself.
Going on in the background is that fucking
does here and how she helps others. I'll send for you.
tearing, vertical
Right.
tearing.
Thanks a lot.
I never see vertical tearing. I never use VSync. Exactly what it's there to prevent, but come on. We're good on sound, yeah. Cool. Yeah, and everything up there is good. Ugh.
How are you, Henry?
Oh, yeah. Suck your dick. You must save her.
I need something from you, sir. I suppose you heard that Johanka was locked up by the Inquisitor and is facing charges of heresy.
I did, and it's most disturbing news.
What you might not know is that he's agreed that I can defend her at the trial.
You? Do you even know what to say?
I'll think of something.
Well, I'm preparing for it. I'll think up something, don't worry. But I need you to testify at the court. In Johanka's defense, of course.
Naturally. You don't think I could just sit here and do nothing? Besides, the bishop has already insisted that I appear before the court.
Oh. Alright.
One moment. I apologize if I was a little hasty. This whole affair has left me anxious. I appreciate that you want to defend her. However, I don't think it would have any effect. No offense, but I don't think you'll be able to achieve anything in court. I'm afraid the Inquisitor will judge as he sees fit, whatever anyone says. But I have an idea how you could help.
Oh? How's that?
Flee. With Johanka, of course.
How?
No, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm sure Johanka will be acquitted by the court and everything will be alright. Running would just confirm the Inquisitor's suspicions, and she'd always be looking over her shoulder.
I don't agree. As I said, I don't believe you can affect the outcome of the court. If Johanka flees, yes, she'll have to lie low for a while, but in time it will all blow over. You can take her anywhere, as long as it's far enough from here. A girl like that will always find her feet. She can easily hide out somewhere where she's not known. Maybe there could even be a place for her on my estate.
Yeah, okay.
But whatever
No.
you decide, if Johanka comes to any harm, you'll have me to answer to. I'm very fond of her, and her of me, and I don't want anything to happen to her, understand? But if everything ends well, I'll show you my gratitude, I assure you. Good luck, then.
Alright, who else can I get? Avel of Colon. Bailiff, Father Fabian, Guta. I don't think I want Guta because I failed to help her. I need to convince this guy that she is getting that Holy Spirit throughout her body. Like, what's the deal with Joseph? Is that the name of Jesus' dad? Why everybody gotta worship Mary? And, you know, Jesus, the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, all three of those are Jesus, or God, or whatever. They're all the same being. Why aren't we showing no love to Joseph, who raised God to be a good man? The lighting in this game is looking weird today, too. What's up with that? Am I not using reshade? The F12? 11? Huh. No, something's going on. Could just be the weather, too. Like, it's fog, maybe it's bleeding out some blue onto the land. Don't look right to me, though. Oh. Probably a button somewhere, it tells me. I don't remember it. Home page up. That's close. It's right next to home. Yeah, right. Still looks better.
Salami, sausages, lard of all kinds, and scratchings that make your mouth water more than the finest hay.
Hey, clear. No one's allowed to talk to you. Bishop Yaroslav's orders.
I'm from the bishop.
I know. I was just testing you. And you passed. I'm with the bishop's entourage, and I'm here at his command. Let me in to talk to Johanka.
In that case, you surely know that everyone who comes from the bishop has to show a document to prove it.
Good, good. Your diligence is commendable. I don't have the document on me at present, though. I left it at the monastery.
Sorry, sir. We'll have to go and get it. I can't let you in otherwise. I wouldn't want to anger the Monsignor.
Of course. And you can actually read, can you?
A little, sir, yes. That's why they put me here.
Very wise. You're clearly the right man for the job. Very well. I'll be back soon with that paper.
Goodbye.
Okay, now,
Shit! Hey! A pickpocket!
What?
Move a finger.
What?
Surrender!
Oh. Pickpocketing mechanic is, like, cool, but I don't like how it's... I don't like that I can pick someone's pocket, like, right in front of their face. They won't notice me until I fail the fondle check. But then someone can see you doing it and you still get caught. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not the same as just stealing. You're doing the whole minigame, whatever. It's complicated, but you know, it's my fault for forgetting that. Okay, so if I find someone in green armor, maybe even this guy. Fuck! I was close. He had exactly what I wanted, though, you know? Right, so I actually want to get Ni No Kuni and Cult of the Lamb done together. Because I feel that they're both very similar. Probably why it took me so long to finish either of them, because I was playing them at the same time, you know? And, you know, depending on how long we're doing this, that might be all that we have time for. So just heads up. Alright, Nicodemus.
Brother Nicodemus, yeah.
I'm a...
What? Not
Look it.
but what?
I had...
But
Goodbye.
wait. So,
See you later.
Okay, bath wench.
Adela.
Oh, but
But
Oh.
thanks.
Okay, ugly man. Are we on time? It's gotta have been like, I was gonna say 15 minutes. We're at 20. It's okay. Oh, Pavel's the guy who I helped with the treasure hunt.
Henry, I'm glad you came.
Maybe donating to the church is gonna help her a lot in the case. Is like, she's an investor.
I said what you. What?
Besides,
Oh.
one more. I appreciate no offense, but I have
Oh.
flee.
No, run.
I'm but. Good luck then.
Oh, God. On. Pavel, I ran by him. He has a fancy hat. Old guy with a hat. Yep.
Goodman Pavel, you're still here. That's a relief. I was afraid I'd miss you.
Ah, Henry. What would you like from me? Maybe you'd like to rob me of what I have left, or what is it this time?
What?
What on earth do you mean?
You were supposed to make that donation in my name, not your own. You lied to me and dishonored the Blessed Virgin on whose behalf Johanka spoke.
It wasn't at all easy getting hold of that treasure. I earned the right to give it in my own name.
You certainly did not. You only wanted to make yourself look good at my expense.
I better be going.
Yes, get out of my sight. And you better pray our paths don't cross again. Good luck then.
Here we are.
What? Come on, man. He said that he'd rather I make the donation for him. Like, I thought he wanted it to be anonymous. My concern is if we can't show that she actually helped people, then it will look like she's just being a blasphemer. But also, if we show that she doesn't have any powers, that could be a good thing as well. But like, I don't know.
Onions that'll even make your man cry like a little lass. Come and buy some.
These cheese will wreck your ass like a fine lass. Come get some. Oh, there's another helmet in there. It's ready to sell. Was already just in the yard, innit? You got your money yet? Right?
God save you.
Sure does. Right, I got my own new ring.
I'd like to just... What do you say to...
That's... Fine.
Okay.
Hey, no one's allowed. Bishop!
I know. I was just... I'm with the bishop.
In that case, good. Sorry, I wouldn't.
Of course. And you can...
A little, sir.
Very wise. You're very well. I'll be back.
God be with you.
But I have the paper.
Here's a document. See?
Show me that. That's fine. Thank you, sir. God be
If I
with you.
just lifted it from his pocket and give him his own document.
Johanka, are you alright?
Yes, Henry. I'm fine. I'm glad to see you.
I spoke to the Inquisitor. He wants to put you on trial.
I know. It's all in God's hands now.
No, it's not. I mean, it is, of course. But the bishop has allowed me to defend you.
You want to defend me? Thank you, Henry. That's very kind of you. But you needn't bother. Our Lady won't let anything bad happen to me. I am her instrument,
Bullshit.
and I am completely in her hands. Everything that's happening is her sacred will.
But I won't stand by with my arms folded. You need someone to testify for you. As I said, I will defend you.
If you insist, maybe it's the will of the Virgin that you came to me. So be it then.
I went to Ujits, like you asked.
That's good, Henry. I hope you purged yourself of your sins.
I did the pilgrimage of penance, like you said. And in the church, I begged the Virgin Mary for forgiveness.
And she will bless you, Henry. You're a good man. Remember that. And don't stray into wrongdoing.
I already have.
I won't. I made a donation to the church, too. And the parish priest there, Father Godwin, he was asking about you.
Was he? Well, what did you tell him?
Oh, just about everything that's going on and the things you were saying. He was quite moved by it, to tell the truth. He even gave me some writings.
You see? Maybe Our Lady is giving you a sign too.
That might actually help me in court.
What did Bishop Yaroslav ask you about?
All sorts of things. Like how the Virgin Mary visits me, what she shows me, and about preaching to the people. Actually, he was really quite pleasant. He asked me about scalets, whether I go to church, and a lot of other things. And in the end, he told me I mustn't speak in public again about the visitations and that. But I couldn't obey an order like that. The Blessed Virgin is testing me, and I have to do what she asks, no matter who or what stands in the way.
I'd say he wasn't too happy about that.
No. He came there with his men, dispersed the people, and had me arrested and locked up here.
About that trial?
Yes, the trial.
Please be nice to the nice man.
I'll get some people who will testify for you in court. But Brother Nicodemus is worried you'll say things that will make the Inquisitor angry. Please don't do that. You have to talk to him respectfully, answer his questions with humility, and not say anything to annoy him. And don't say anything against the church or priests. Please.
I'll say only what the Blessed Virgin wants me to say.
Bullshit.
Johanka, please. You mustn't say anything against him or the church. Be contrite. Maybe even admit you might have been wrong about some things. I don't think the Inquisitor is so bad. If you submit to him, he'll drop the charges.
You too now. You're speaking exactly the same as his assistant. The two of you joined forces against me, did you?
I've nothing to do with him.
I'm trying to save you.
Believe me, I'm really trying to help you.
You don't believe me anymore, do you?
It's for your own good.
I don't know what to think about these visitations and messages. I'm sorry, I'm not learned enough to make sense of it. But I'm only concerned about your good. If you anger the Inquisitor, it won't end well for you, I know it. So now you believe me for a change.
You don't understand. The Virgin Mary entrusted me with spreading her message, and I can't let her down. Not now. After everything that's happened, I can't. Otherwise, she won't heal Matthias.
But you have to consider yourself and what's good for you. Surely you don't want to be convicted of heresy? That won't do anyone any good, neither you nor Matthias.
I've already told you. Everything is in the hands of the Blessed Virgin. I will accept with humility the fate she grants me.
Oh, Sakra. This is going to be a right mess.
God damn it. They should have played nice with her. There is the bailiff. That D. In his yard, I guess. We're on patrol.
Master Bailiff, Inquisitor Yaroslav is going to try Johanka.
I know. He was here asking questions, too.
Oh? What did he want to know?
Come!
Like how things are here, whether people are honest, whether we observe the fest days, and so forth. And then he asked about Johanka, about what she preaches, whether people come to listen to her and that. He's been talking to a lot of other people in Sasau, too. I even heard that Katra, the swordsmith's wife, invited him to dine with them.
That's interesting. Thanks for telling me. Was he just asking questions, or does he want you to testify before the court?
Yes, he did ask me to testify, and I'm none too happy about it.
I see. And what are you going to say about her?
It depends what I'm asked, but there's not much I can say. I don't know Johanka very well. She seems virtuous and self-sacrificing to me. She's never done anything wrong, and no one here ever had a cross word to say about her. Until recently. Maybe some gossip about her and Sir Sebastian. But I've heard similar talk about half the women folk here.
Ah, she is not virtuous, dog.
Johanka has helped a lot of people here, selflessly. Her heart is in the right place.
True. But then there's that preaching of hers. Folk have been falling out. They're split according to whether they believe Johanka or not. I don't know quite what to think of it myself. But I don't want to jump to conclusions. I'll wait and see what the learned bishop has to say.
She's not a nun, she's just a nurse, I guess. I think she was like a miller daughter or something, but now she's doing surgery and stuff. Very progressive. Women doctors.
Thank you for speaking openly, Master Bailiff.
God be with you.
Not about to bribe them. I am sure Johanka is getting burnt at the stake. I think the face is like an image print or whatever, you know, like they do in the 2K games. Because he looks just like his voice actor.
Welcome, Henry.
Didn't help your husband with his gambling addiction. Will you please say Johanka's good?
How did it go with that husband of mine?
Not well.
I tried all sorts of things. I did everything in my power, but nothing helped.
Oh, Henry. You were my last hope. All I can do now is pray to the Virgin Mary for a miracle.
That'll work. That man is a gambling god, alright? You got nothing to worry about.
I need your help with something. I'm sure you've heard. Johanka was locked up by the Inquisitor.
Who hasn't? The whole of Sasso is talking about it. And the Inquisitor was asking around about her.
I'd like to ask you to appear before the court and say something in Johanka's defense.
I understand, but you'll have to forgive me. I don't want to show my face there. Never mind speak for Johanka. I wouldn't want people to associate me with her. What with her being a heretic, see?
People
Bullshit.
But I understand. It's a tricky business. I won't push you.
You'll ask her for help when you believe, but then you won't defend her when you fuck you.
Look out.
At least she's not mad. What else is there to talk to? Just a swordsmith? The priest. I forgot about the priest. The one guy whose testimony might actually mean something. Whatever. Church like swords. They're expensive. Where's the man? Where is the man? You're a woman.
I'm here about Johanka.
You're that fella of hers, are you? What do you want?
Oh, I'm not her fellow. We're just friends.
A friend of hers. Matthias is her fella.
Huh. God knows how many she has.
I heard you invited Bishop Yaroslav to come and dine with you?
Yes, so what?
Whoa.
Bishop Yaroslav is an esteemed visitor to Sasso, and it's only fitting he should be suitably hosted by devout burghers.
And what did you talk about?
What we discussed with the Monsignor is none of your business.
But it could be my business.
What have you got against
money?
Johanka?
Nothing.
Big bag of
Question
coins?
is, what has she got against us? Tell me that.
What?
She turns up here and tries to tell us how to live our lives. Says the Virgin Mary whispers to her in the night. Yeah, I'm sure. To a simple village wench. I'd like to know who's really putting those ideas in her head. She's just getting people all worked up. Men, especially. Coming around here with her nonsense. Sasso is a decent, orderly place, I'll have you know. We don't want any trouble here. All this talk about hellfire and the end of the world. God have mercy. No one is interested in what she has to say. All they want is
Sasso.
She ought to have thought twice before she started. Not that she wasn't warned.
What do you mean, warned?
As I said, she was told.
What are you implying? We can do this peacefully.
Tell me everything you know. I represent the royal hetman, so don't try and keep anything from me.
If you must know, some of the fellas want to have it out with her and tell her to stop. No one wants her speeches here. But would she listen? No. The devil possessed her to bring harm to us.
So it was you who sent those men?
All I wanted was to protect the Sasso folk against her poisonous tongue, and I'll do just that. The Monsignor asked me to testify in court, and I'll tell everything I know there.
And I'll do likewise. Farewell.
Go. Good luck, then.
Now you see, you got like the little bean shape right here, and a visor. It's us. The arm. We still gotta talk to Father Fabian. Not a name I ever hear. It's like Fenton. You know the guy's a fucking brat.
Yeah.
This isn't a front entrance. Why is the church built sideways? Father.
Father, the Inquisitor has had Johanka thrown in jail.
I know, son.
He's planning a hearing.
Rightly so. It's about time this whole matter was dealt with.
Whoa, that doesn't sound good.
What do you think about it, then?
As I say, it's a good thing that the matter is being investigated.
No, it's not.
The things Johanka has been preaching are, to say the least, disturbing. Who knows what these dreams are that she speaks of? And her words
They're real.
are only putting ideas in people's heads and leading them astray. Now, instead of going to church, as they should, they go to her in the false belief that they will find solace. It's creating a chasm between the people and the church and leading them away from the true teaching left to us by Christ. They're misguided and swamped in heretical ideas.
But the Virgin Mary speaks to her, right? I followed the trail, I found a pile of bodies, it's just like she said. She didn't put those there.
But Johanka is only saying what the Virgin Mary has told her. What can be wrong with that?
And how do you know the Virgin is really talking to her?
Well, I believe she's telling the truth.
Ah, but you can't be sure, can you? Do you really think a girl from the stable knows God's teaching better than the church? Better than the generations of church fathers and learned scholars since the time of Christ, who have studied the sacred scriptures and their correct interpretation? With all the evil that's already going on in this province, the last thing people
Studying a book is not the same as being talked to by God, okay? Christ came from a stable too.
Christ also came from a stable, though.
There's no comparison. Christ was the Son of God. Enough of this.
Dude.
Asked me to present my suspicions before the court, and that's what I intend to do. He will then resolve the whole matter. He is, after all, more qualified than anyone to do so.
If you say so, Father.
Farewell.
No comparison. Jesus was Jesus, okay? Nobody else can be Jesus. Alright, let's go get our friend Murd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, first part of this expansion kinda sucked.
Yeah.
I like this part though. Feel like everything is so out of my control. And just gonna give me another reason to be pissed off at the church. C and B. What? Ah, right, Nicodemus. I'm gonna tell her that she's a stubborn cow.
I spoke to Johanka.
And did you manage to convince her?
I'm afraid not. She's stubborn. She says she answers only to the Blessed Virgin.
Oh dear, Henry. That's not good at all. What about her family? Doesn't she have a relative she might listen to?
No.
Got Wozniak.
None of them survived the raid on Skalitz.
She has no one at all left in the world? Poor child.
See you later.
Oh. Well, none of that went very well at all. It started promising, at least. Us? I'll defend her in a duel! No. That's probably gonna look very bad for me. Doubt it's gonna let me fight the guy.
Monsignor.
Excellent. I have also completed my...
A nice bling.
We may commence then with the proceedings?
Yes.
Good. I will send for everyone who is to bear witness and have Johanka brought before the court. We'll commence first thing tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
One more thing. These are solemn proceedings that demand a certain decorum. I won't tolerate any clanking armor or otherwise inappropriate attire. You will wear this robe.
Of course. Thank you, Monsignor.
Very well. Rest now, and we'll meet in the morning. Take care.
Old man doesn't want me to wear my armor. What a prude. How come all you get chairs and I have to stand?
Let us begin.
No witnesses. Loading screen. Why are you so long? Why does the loading bar not tell me anything?
I, Bishop Yaroslav of Benishov, by the grace
Look
of
at that
God,
fucking mural.
Inquisitor, have come
Like
here
fucking
this
Bobby Hill.
to reports of Marian visitations and the preaching activities of one Johanka, a commoner. And I have found indeed that by her arbitrary words she's been leading good people astray and encouraging their rebellion against their betters. Furthermore, Johanka has attempted to usurp the glory that belongs alone to Holy Mother Church, and to appoint herself as an intermediary of the wisdom and grace of Almighty God. This does not be
just Virgin Mary, okay? Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
not a woman. It is therefore necessary to remedy her transgressions, and to investigate the extent and the basis of her misguidance. Or, as the case may be, heresy. Henry of Skalitz has elected to appear here in Johanka's defense, and his wish has been allowed. Anyone who elects to speak here does so before God, and shall be bound by a most sacred oath, to speak only the truth. I will first hear the testimony of Father Fabian, who sent me word of this matter, and who should best know what deeds are done in his parish.
This butthole reported her. I didn't even know.
Father Fabian, will you tell us what Johanka has been proclaiming?
Johanka claims that she has received visitations from Our Lady, the Holy Mother of God, who speaks to her in the night. It is an outrageous claim that I hold to be entirely untrue.
And did Johanka come forward to ask your advice regarding these alleged apparitions?
She did not. Instead, she took it upon herself to spread her supposed wisdom to the people.
And prior to this, did Johanka attend church? Did you see her at your sermons, Father?
I did not, Monsignor.
A busy woman.
I believe Johanka is deliberately avoiding the church. Instead, she meets her followers secretly in the woods and preaches to them. Either she made
in a field,
or the devil himself is whispering in her ear.
If I may, Monsignor, the Virgin Mary really does speak to Johanka.
Is that so? And on what do you found this claim?
It couldn't be the devil.
Just can't.
Johanka lives at the monastery, doesn't she? Close to the cave of St. Procopius. St. Procopius, who overpowered the devil and cast him down, did he not? The evil one would hardly dare return to the dominion of the saints to whisper in Johanka's ear. Surely that's obvious.
It's true, Henry, that evil spirits, or even Lucifer himself, would have little power.
True, true. You're very well versed in her fanfic.
But the fact that she lives at the monastery doesn't mean that she is not misguided. What's more, she is an interloper there herself, who would not even be tolerated if it weren't for Brother Nicodemus.
Yes, Father. I am aware of the...
What about the fucking guy whose dick she's sucking?
But in this, I must concur with Henry. Let us continue, then. Father Fabian?
I just get a dubski?
Even if it were true, why would Our Lady choose a simple village girl like Johanka?
Monsignor, with your permission, I'd like to draw attention to the work of the great scholar Matthew of Yanov. He exalted women like Johanka. He said that God created what is weak in order to bring shame on what is strong. That's why God turns to women who love Christ and blesses them with such visions, so that they can point out and rectify the vanities of men. It can't be heresy if the learned masters of universities write such tracts.
Thank you, Father Godwin.
What you say is remarkable. Matthew's work, which you mentioned, does speak to Johanka's benefit, but I wouldn't have expected that someone of your station has even heard of the Master of Yanov. How did you come by his work?
Well, Johanka pressed me to go on a pilgrimage of repentance. I went to Ujits, where there is a Marian church, and there, the parish priest gave me a copy of
Mariah Carey.
That's surprising indeed. Especially that you are at all capable of reading such a work and understanding it. You're quite a fountain of unexpected skills, Henry.
Thank you, Monsignor.
Oh, Marian, I get it.
Is there anything else you want to add, Henry?
Yeah.
Yes. Please call Brother Nicodemus.
Brother Nerd.
He has something to say about it. He's a man of learning and knows more about these things than I do.
The man of meth.
I also wish to hear his testimony. Call him. Nicodemus, for some time you were insisting that the infirmary needed extra pairs of hands. It was only at your request that Johanka, against all accepted custom, was allowed inside the monastery walls. I've already spoken to Abbot Peter about her, but please tell me how Johanka behaved.
Monsignor, I must stand behind Johanka. The girl is a treasure, selfless, charitable and good-hearted, She helped more people here than anyone else. I have never seen her do anything that would contradict the behavior of a good Christian. She never discussed questions of faith with me. She was always focused only on her work, which she carried out impeccably.
And afterwards, when she began making claims of Marian apparitions?
Yes. Yes, that's quite an extraordinary thing. The things she preached couldn't have come from any of the brothers, or from books, because she can't read. Therefore, I believe the Blessed Virgin really spoke to her.
Nonsense. She made the whole thing up. Or someone did prompt her. You're very keen to defend her, brother. It makes me wonder whether she didn't get her wisdom from you.
I already said she got none of it from me, and I would never lie before Almighty God. But it seems to me it's the inadequate education of the good parish priest here that's behind his flimsy litany.
What? Am I to be criticized by someone who's more a gardener than a scholar?
Father Fabian.
Just called him stupid in court.
And you, Nicodemus, stick to the point if you please.
Certainly, Monsignor. Please allow this humble gardener to put the good priest right, because he evidently knows nothing of the fact that other women before Johanka had similar experiences. Blessed Hildegard of Bingen also had similar visions. And what about St. Bridget, or Elizabeth of Schurnau, or Catherine of Siena? Like them, Johanka here only humbly spreads the message of Our Lady. She does not present herself as an intermediary of divine mercy. Please do not condemn Johanka, Bishop Yaroslav.
My fists are an intermediary of divine mercy.
Are genuine, and her words sincere.
Thank you, Nicodemus. Your plea is very bold. But what you say about Hildegard and the others is true. You can rest assured, I will consider your words very carefully.
It's going well so far.
Have you had trouble with heretics before, or had any suspicions of heresy here?
Not much, Monsignor. Now and then there have been traveling preachers and various charlatans here and there. Although, I did recently get reports that there were members of the Waldensian sect hiding in the province.
Waldensians? So there have been heretics concealed here. So, it cannot be ruled out that Johanka also associated with them. Perhaps they are even behind this matter, too.
No, because I rooted them out myself.
That's all.
I'm glad to have been of service, Monsignor.
I thank you also, Brother Nicodemus. You too may stand down. Call Hoshek, bailiff of Sasau.
Maybe if I talked to the man before we started the trial and told him about that, I could have gotten a point there.
Has there been any suspicious activity here recently?
Well, there have been cumins on the rampage in the woods and on the roads, and all sorts of...
And I murdered all of them, yes.
Some brigands around the province. But otherwise, it's all been peaceful and quiet here, Monsignor.
How reassuring. And what of Johanka, bailiff? Has she been inciting the people here?
I couldn't tell you much about her. I hardly know her. She hasn't broken any laws, and folks speak well of her, for the most part. Although it's true, things have been a bit tense here, on account of her speeches.
Continue.
Quite a lot of people have been going to her since she started with that preaching. Some are even convinced she's a holy woman. From what I heard, they bring her small gifts or ask for her advice or blessing.
Sacrilege! People coming for blessings and bringing her gifts. That has all the makings of a cult.
Oh, I don't know, Monsignor. Begging your pardon, but that's overstating it a bit. But it's true. They met outside town, too, and it came to a bit of a skirmish. Nothing serious happened, though. Fellas punching each other in the mouth. If you'll excuse me, Monsieur, that happens all the time. Well, that's about all I can tell you, Monsignor.
I punched a couple fellas in the mouth.
Will be all. And you, Henry.
Divine mercy, as I said.
More than anyone. Do people come to her for blessings?
She doesn't bless them, though. They just come to her.
Well, they come to her,
They
yes.
say, please, queen,
I
I'll
swear she never
buy
blessed
you a
anyone.
dress.
But when someone comes to her, she tries to help them, like a good Christian.
Henry, I'm sure you're aware that to lie here is a mortal sin and a crime.
I do. And I'm not lying.
Bro, I just went on a freaking long-ass repentance pilgrimage.
Yes, Monsignor. I'd like you to listen to Adela. She amended her life, and doesn't live in sin anymore, all because of Johanka. Her testimony will show that Johanka is an exemplary Christian, not the leader of some cult.
All right. Call this Adela. Adela, until recently you were living in the nearby town of Ledechko, is that so?
Yes.
And how did you make a living there?
Rubbing tugs.
Served at the baths, laundering and repairing clothes, and preparing the baths.
Is that all?
No. Sometimes I went with the fellas and pleasured them for money. But I don't do it anymore. I swear. I changed my ways on account of Johanka and Henry here, and now I lead a decent life.
You're saying you simply gave up your profession?
Yes. Henry convinced me, and Johanka took me in.
Very well. Thank you. And since you left Ledechko, have you sinned with anyone?
No, monsieur, I haven't.
Good. May God give you the will to maintain your newfound virtue, Adela. And now, please answer one more question. You're living with Johanka now, yes? Tell me what she says to the people who come to her.
Well, they come with all sorts of problems. Some want just advice. Some want her maybe to bless them or talk to Our Lady for them. They believe she's a holy woman.
So, Johanka accepts gifts from these people and then gives them her blessing?
No, it's not like that. Johanka doesn't bless anyone. And she doesn't want any gifts from anyone either. Folk just bring them. The things they bring, she gives them out to the sick and wounded. She doesn't keep anything, I swear.
You swear?
Yes, I swear to it all, Monseigneur. I'd never lie to you.
All right. You may go. Now
End up being a better witness than I thought. I didn't know.
Bring her here.
Oh no, here comes the gossip bitch. Gonna call her a thought?
Katra, you are a respected townswoman.
It's gonna be correct, actually. Fuck.
As you told me earlier, will you tell me now what you know of Johanka and her deeds?
Yes, I'll tell you everything, Monsignor. Johanka has been putting ideas into people's heads and causing chaos. What right has she to preach to us? A simple girl like that. As if we were bad people here, and she is a sinner, and an adulterer, a loose woman she is, who goes with anyone, and even fornicated with the custodian, Sir Sebastian.
Now hold on, only the last part's true.
Forgive me, Monsignor, but Katra isn't telling the whole truth.
What do you mean, Henry?
She's the one who set a band of thugs on Johanka, several times, to cause trouble for her and threaten her. She wanted to drive Johanka out of town. That's not the deed of a good Christian, plotting intrigues like that. She admitted it all to me.
Is that true?
I only did what was necessary to stop her from bringing us to harm.
Monsignor, you can see yourself that Katra holds a grudge against Johanka.
Yes. I must agree with Henry. In view of your apparent antagonism towards Johanka, whatever the reasons for it, I cannot allow you to influence these proceedings. You should have reported your concerns to Father Fabian instead of acting willfully as you did.
But...
Yeah, fuck out of here.
Nothing but trouble.
I will be the judge of her transgressions, not you. Nevertheless, I have also heard rumors of Johanka's immorality that cannot be ignored. Bring here the Sassar custodian. Sir Sebastian von Berg.
Sir McDonald's.
Sir Sebastian, my apologies for raising the matter, but doubts have been cast on your virtue. I have been told...
Wears a coat of golden arches.
Is it true?
Monseigneur, with respect, this is surely some mistake. Johanka is not a bad girl, and by no means a heretic.
Noted. Now please answer my question. Did you share your bed with Johanka or not?
Yes, sir. Pussy is fire.
Yes, but she's not...
Silence! So, Johanka not only incites rebellion against the nobles, but also seduces them into sin and immorality.
Oh, hold on, the custodian took advantage of her.
That's not true. Johanka never seduced anyone. It's the other way round. He wouldn't leave her alone from the moment she came to Sasau. He simply took advantage of her misfortune and his own status to get her into bed.
How dare you! Silence! Henry?
Johanka regrets it. What was she to do when she was constantly pursued by a nobleman who has great influence in the area?
What I did out of love for her. Johanka is no heretic, only a confused, unhappy young girl. There's no call for jumping to the conclusion of heresy. Monsignor, you must
Very
be
good.
able to see that.
I
think he's gonna pay me, though.
Would you cast doubt on the authority of the church in this trial?
I will no longer tolerate this humiliation. Get out of my way.
Nobody's in your way. Door. What the fuck? He turned around. Is he gonna fight me?
You've been very keen to appear here in Johanka's defense. You've said a lot about her, but please, tell me why you've been helping her all this time.
Because we're friends.
Monsignor, she's my friend. After the terrible things that happened in Scallis, neither of us has many dear ones left. It seemed only right to me to help her.
You seem like a compassionate man. It certainly says something about Johanka, that someone like you stands up for her. That will be all, Henry.
Monsignor, please permit me
Have
to
a good
say
speech.
one more thing. I heard some wise words at a sermon in Scallis, and I think I should share them here. It's our Christian duty to fight against sin. But we must love the sinner. So I beg you, Monsignor, be lenient to Johanka.
You're right, Henry. Those are wise words. Nothing remains but to question Johanka herself.
Here's where shit's gonna hit the fan.
You've heard the accusations brought against you, and we have also heard several testimonies. I already questioned you earlier. Johanka, do you wish to revise the answers you gave earlier, or do you stand by what you said?
I stand by everything I told you.
So be it. I expressly forbade you to continue preaching, and you promised not to do so. You defied my instruction and broke your promise. Why?
Forgive me, Monseigneur. But I could do nothing else. Our Lady asked
The Roy
me to
Mustang
yield,
gloves?
and I couldn't refuse her. And I did the right thing. The Virgin Mary visited me again in my cell and showed me new things. Monks and prelates who took off their robes and put on princely cloaks instead. They threw down their staves, buckled on swords, and placed crowns on their heads. They rejected Christ's example and hoarded wealth for themselves. They paid no heed to the people, but only gave them absolution for money and...
Silence! You will not speak like that. I have already heard more than enough. These proceedings are closed. You may leave.
That was the whole trial right there.
My verdict.
Talks bad about the church, bitch gotta go. You sew her lips shut, call it a compromise?
Are you aware you're facing very grave accusations?
Yes, Monseigneur. I am.
You stand accused of preaching from ignorance and leading the people away from the protective embrace of Holy Mother Church. If you do not recant, you will suffer great consequences. Pride and ignorance clouded her reason. Child, it would distress me greatly to have to pronounce a verdict of condemnation. Speak then. Do you recant your sermons and swear never again to preach to the people? And are you prepared to repent?
As God is my witness, I did all this with good intentions.
Really gonna cut her head off with a sword?
The Virgin Mary did
I have halberds in the game.
and I would be lying before her, before God and my own conscience if I denied it.
If you don't recant and return to the bosom of Holy Mother Church, then you have sealed your own fate. Take her. We must all be ever vigilant of Lucifer's evil designs and avoid being caught in his snares. Only Holy Mother Church can safeguard all Christian folks from the onslaught of the devil. Only Holy Mother Church cares for their souls so they may find salvation in the kingdom of heaven.
It's all true, and the will of the Blessed Virgin, her sacred will that I will never recant.
Sometimes, to save the body of the true church, it is necessary to amputate a gangrenous limb.
Oh, she loves it.
The Lord is with thee.
Just gonna spank her till she repents.
Among women, and
At least tell me I got like a middling ending.
of thy word. Jesus. Holy Mary. Oh God.
Johanka of Scarlets refuses to accept the truth and recant her delusive preaching. Her tongue is an instrument of the devil. It must be plucked out and cast from the body of the heretic, along with the devil, so that her soul may be purged of evil.
And shank her? It's just cruel. Pulling her teeth? Ugh. She just passed out or is she dead?
Despite her suffering,
Oh!
Johanka remained faithful to her conviction.
Died from getting her fucking teeth yanked out.
But in vain. Her cruel punishment was too much to endure. Matthias never lived to hear of Johanka's fate. Soon afterwards, he succumbed to his sickness.
Oh, That was my boy.
Although it's forbidden to bury a heretic in consecrated ground, we lay Johanka and Matthias to rest together, side by side, in a place where I hope they will finally find peace. As Brother Nicodemus said, surely God will forgive us for following our hearts.
Ouch. I was just fucked up, man. Got a level of speech, though. Take that. Huh. Well, I take back what I said about A Woman's Lot. I think on the Steam page, too, they got, like, review bombed. Not unrighteously so. It's like, this whole part with Teresa is ass, and it fucking breaks my game, so I can't even have it complete. But that half was good. Still have the hand stuff to do. And then we should be out of side quests. No, we still have the disguise thing to hunt humans. Where is my speech? Is it a main stat? Yeah. Final offer. Oh shit, I don't want that perk. We on money, 5.6k. You know what, maybe Nicodemus will have something to say about this. The custodian will too, but it won't be anything nice, so I don't think I'll talk to him.
Henry, I want to thank you for that generous donation to the infirmary. I'm glad you and Pavel didn't forget us. What?
Oh, so you know about Pavel.
That trial. I never thought it would go so far.
I was hoping too for a more lenient verdict. Johanka was a good girl. It's not for me to question the bishop's decision, but I'm deeply sorry for the poor child. May Our Lady in her mercy forgive her and intercede for her, and us too, for burying her in hallowed ground.
We did the right thing. For her and for Matthias. Thank you for helping me with it. It's what she deserved.
You're right, but you must never speak of it. It must remain between the two of us, all right?
Of course. Rest assured.
I don't suppose you want to buy some jewelry from me. Yeah, I reckon that's all I can do.
Can we do something?
Well,
be able to sell the last piece at the general store back in Ribbits Labbits. That's where we're going. Yeah, dump our money away. And on the way, we will talk about Cult of the Lamb. I did everything there was to do, right? I got all the awardments, beat the game. I built all the structures, reached max level and the stuff. So, sweet thoughts. Kind of short for like a roguelike. It's very easy, very straightforward. I think I have like less than 20 hours in it, and honestly, It started out alright while you were still unlocking things and growing your cult, getting new buildings to build, unlocking new enchantment types and spells and weapons that will appear in the roguelike runs. Like, it feels fun while that lasts, but as you start to approach the end of all these progression trees, the game starts to lose a lot of its charm. And by the end, I was, like, pretty bored. EBH. Luckily, it's well-paced. Again, it's pretty easy, so as long as you aren't constantly dying, like, if you succeed in almost every run you go on, you should only run out of progression stuff by the literal end of the game, right? And the runs themselves only last like 10-15 minutes. So like, if I was just playing to start to finish, I probably would have had like a slightly better impression. But I played for like at least 5 hours past finishing the game because I had to grind out some achievements. The most horrendous one being sacrifice 10 followers. I did the occasional sacrifice during the game to bring up my morale, but it has such a long cooldown, and there are perks you can get to reduce the cooldowns of rituals, but like with the lowest possible cooldown, you have to take 3 in-game days. So, like, by the time I got to the final boss, I think I'd only sacrificed 5 people. And I still had to find 5 more to sacrifice. And there are other means of sacrificing, guys. Like, you can bring them to this pit and turn them into a demon that'll help you in the dungeon. Or you can ascend them, which is like an upward sacrifice rather than a downward one. You still see their meat fall out of the sky all the same. But those don't count. It has to be the normal sacrifice ritual, which is really lame. The game, very simple stuff. You start out as a little lamb, you're about to be sacrificed. And after you get sacrificed, the one who waits approaches you after death, and he offers you the red crown. His red crown, mind you. And he says, you can come back to life, but you have to found a cult in his name. And you agree. So you come back, you murder all the cultists that were trying to kill you, and then you go through a little dungeon, collect a couple of guys to open up your church. And that's like the dungeon part of the game, right? Combat's very simple. You can mash the attack button to attack guys. You have a sword. And you have a curse too, down to the top button, triangle Y, whatever. And that takes fervor, which drops from enemies you kill. There are other ways to get it from cards, tarot cards, which are like perks you pick up every run. But, you know, very simple. You have 2 actions, and you can also do a dodge roll. It feels fine. You unlock other weapon types eventually, like a big slow hammer that does AoE damage, or a dagger that's, you know, less damage, but it's spammy. An axe, more damage, but slower. The claws, which I didn't like at first, but really grew on me. There might be a couple others, but those are the ones I can think of right now. And there are plenty of different curses to use as well. But again, you can only have 1 equipped at a time, so you kind of constantly trade them out. And then you unlock different enchants for them eventually, so you'll get like a necromantic version or a vampiric version that'll appear at random. And all that's pretty cool, like progression-wise. Every time you give a sermon, you collect points from your followers based on their loyalty level. And then you cash those in for a perk eventually, and that'll be something like, this is the necromantic weapons pack. Now you unlock the necromantic versions of each weapon. So as you're playing and you go into like the new dungeons, they'd be like, you unlock a whole new enchant that'll appear that wasn't in any of your previous runs, and that's a pretty cool feeling. And save in this bed, huh? Yeah, the dungeon part, just very simple, too simple, not enough depth to it, and when you get cards, or you get a lot of cards in one run because you're lucky, it can be fun to like snowball a little, but most of the things feel pretty inconsequential as well. Very minuscule bonuses, you can probably get through something without any cards pretty easily. And not to mention the iframes on the dodge are pretty generous. So, like, there are achievements for killing each of the bosses without taking damage, and I only struggled against one of them. The others I got pretty easily, just like 1 or 2 tries. If that tells you anything about the difficulty. There are difficulty settings. I played on hard. Yeah, and you also smash stuff and collect resources to bring back your cult, of course. Each area has different things, so you might go back to an area after you've killed the boss to go grind out specific resources. Or unlock the cosmetic pieces that you maybe didn't find, but you can purchase those as well. The other half of the game is the cult building, which is also fairly shallow, because there's just not much to do. You can have guys worship the statue in the center, chop wood, or chop rocks at first. And eventually you unlock a farm, and you can unlock like a crop box and a fertilizer box that you can use to make the guys do the stuff for you, but at first you have to do it all yourself. And you have to do all the cooking yourself so you can feed them. Growing specific vegetables or catching specific fish, you can make dishes with unique effects. These effects are just stuff like chance to drop valuable resources, increase their loyalty, instantly kill the guy, instantly make them poop, which you can use for fertilizer, a chance to make them sick, and then you have to make them rest for a few days or they'll die. And you have to clean up all the poop so nobody gets sick. Eventually you can get like an outhouse and then harvest the stuff from that instead. You can get like a janitor station so they clean up their own poops at least if you don't have the outhouse. I mentioned the demon summoning circle. There's like a confession booth. Otherwise, you just like dance with your followers every day to increase their loyalty. You build them houses. Sometimes their houses fall apart. You can upgrade them a few times. You just get new buildings, better versions of old buildings. And there's lots of decorative stuff you unlock, and that's all pretty expensive. That's most of what you're going to build. You'll have like one of the main structures and lots of decorations. But what's weird about it is that it's all outside stuff, you know? You have like a campsite, not a building. So when you're setting up statues and windows and stuff, it's like a little weird sometimes. You can attempt to make an outside building with the wall tiles they give you, but it's like difficult to make it look good because it's in an isometric perspective and it's not like square tiles, it's diamond tiles, you know? Everything's rotated 45 degrees. And when I started playing, you had to bless each cult member individually. It got very repetitive. They eventually patched in like a small AoE effect to it so you can bless multiple people at once. And I see they're working on adding a heavy attack to the combat as well, but that's not in the game currently. You also unlock some bonus zones to go to where you can meet characters. They'll give you little side quests, like there's this guy who just eats your followers. He wants you to give him followers. He eventually eats one main NPC. There's a guy who wants to turn people into gold. There's a guy who has like a thing for mushrooms. He worships mushrooms. And he gives you a mushroom brainwashing ritual you can do. It was very dangerous. Funny story, I did the ritual to complete a quest, and then I went into the dungeon. I came back, everybody had gotten sick, and their bodies were just lying around the statue in the center. I felt like an actual cult leader when that happened. And the game already autosaved, so it's not like I could undo it. I just had to deal with, like, 15 people being dead. And I had to go grind to get 20 followers before I could open up the final dungeon, so that kind of sucked, actually. There is a resurrection ability, though. Which, if you're into min-maxing, you can take the followers with high loyalty, and then, you know, sacrifice them, ascend them, whatever, when they're old. And then you resurrect them right away. And they get to keep their loyalty level, so they'll be producing more XP for you every time. You give a sermon. How much? We got 8K. Not enough for anything. Sleep on the bench in here. Yeah. Quick nap. I don't know, I liked how, like, everything was cute but incredibly brutal. And, you know, just the theme of it was strong, but the actual gameplay mechanics of both aspects of the game were, like, overly simplistic. I forgot to mention you can collect commandment stones and set up new laws for your cult. And these come from, like, 5 different categories. One's, like, death, so you can make it so, we believe in death. Nobody gets sad when people die anymore. And, you know, you can change food laws to cannibalism. So now when people die, I don't have to bury them, I just butcher them, and I feed them to the disloyal. I made it like a sex cult by making marriage a religious thing, I guess. Because I'm the cult leader, everybody wants to marry me, so... You know, you use your imagination a bit with these, but basically you get 2 choices for each thing. And there's like 5 for each of the 5 directions, so that's 25 choices you get to make. And those are cool. They're mostly unlocking rituals, and I didn't use most of the rituals. I think resource gain was too generous to necessitate me doing any actual work like that, you know. I think we're gonna go see Sir Hands. And we're gonna walk because I want to keep talking.
Yeah.
Did I ever see Wojciech, whatever his name is? I think I stole Stephanie's jewelry already. What the hell am I doing? Quest log. Simon. No, okay, I did. Did not steal her jewelry. Whatever. We will go see Sir Hands and do that quest, and we'll see about those other side tasks, I don't know. We've grinded out plenty of money, and we need about 50,000 to finish this quest, so I don't know if we're gonna get that in a timely manner, but I'd like to just keep going with the story after this, I guess. We're approaching max level, right? Where are we, level 18, 19? Max level's 20. Most of our stats are getting close to max. There's only so much we can do. Yeah, I wasn't super into the town building itself because of how everything was outside. I still got some fun stuff in, like you can build a prison for people who are dissenters, like they're preaching that your cult's bullshit. They're trying to get other people to leave. They're making people unhappy. So if you want to shut them up, you can throw them in the stocks, and the people will come point and laugh at them, right? While you re-educate them, maybe feed them some meat. Anyways, you can get like a lava floor tile, right? Hot rocks. So I put those on the prison, and I like surround it with like skulls and stuff. Skull bone decorations. Some very bright light that made it look uncomfortable. And that was the whole point, just to make it look like a little punishing room. I have it right next to the church. People see what happens when you don't listen to my sermons. Still, I didn't feel like there was very much I can do, and like, while there are lots of cool decorations, I like the artwork of all of it. There's not, like, enough things. Not enough variety. There's a lot of, like, candles and light sources or whatever, but no chairs, no tables, no gazebos, nothing that's kind of like a building, just some wall tiles. So, yeah. Basically, each part does not stand well on its own. I forgot to mention, if you're, like, looking at this and saying, oh, it looks like Animal Crossing, I like all the cute animals. Well, these animals don't have any personality, they're all the same. Occasionally, they'll give you a little quest, and they'll, like, follow a quest tree, you know? So they'll, like, random NPC says, this random other NPC is sus. And you'll investigate and find nothing. And then they'll give you part 2 of that quest. You're like, no, bro, this guy is sus. I am telling you. Please reconsider. You know, it'll seem like these two got a vendetta against each other or something. And maybe you just kill one because you're tired of dealing with these quests. But aside from that, they all don't really have any personality to them. They are cute, though. Yeah, kind of like ActRaiser, you got maybe two simplistic things, but together in like short bursts going between the action and the building, it makes something that feels alright for as long as it lasts. But, you know, I think it maybe just lasts a little too long, but as something that's a roguelike, I feel like it should have lasted longer, you know? There's not very much replay value. After I finished getting all my materials, I got all my achievements, like, there wasn't anything for me to do. The last few days, I just, like, literally left the game open and went and did other stuff while I was waiting for time to pass so I could do the sacrifices. There wasn't anything left for me to do in the dungeons. I just didn't want to. The combat is simply not as fun as something like Hades. Or even The Binding of Isaac, which is also very simple, but it has a lot more variety.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I have slightly mixed opinions. I was enjoying it while it lasted, and then my opinions started to sour as I hit that end period. But, you know, maybe not everyone cares about getting achievements. But I do think that they are all relatively gettable, which is why I got them, you know? It wasn't a bad thing to get a platinum trophy for. How am I feeling on it? I don't know, it was maybe like a 7 at first, and then maybe it loses a point for that lackluster endgame, let's say. But my real concern is just like, did the game need to be a roguelike? Did it really need to be a roguelike if it's going to be so short and have so little replay value? I don't think it needed to be a roguelike. Maybe if they had like a more tightly designed thing, they could have got a better game, you know? Or maybe it does only work as a roguelike and they had like a smaller development window or something, and like just having random content helps pad out the game that otherwise doesn't have very much content. Like, I'm curious about what the developer has to say about it. The fuck is this? No, this isn't the end. This is the end. What happened here? Alright. So, I guess those are my thoughts on that, but I said I wanted to talk about it right next to Ni No Kuni too, because that's another game that's very similar to ActRaiser, right? You have action combat sections, and you go back to your town and build stuff. And, I don't know, things work better in Ni No Kuni, but I also had, like, a lackluster endgame. And I, you know, again, played it long past its welcome. I started to not enjoy myself towards the end. So, yeah, I didn't finish the first game, but I like the first game a lot, right? And I'd like to go back to it someday, maybe pick up the remaster so I don't have to go plug in the PS3. You know, it was beautiful, everything was like hand-painted, it had the whole Studio Ghibli look, it had the Studio Ghibli vibes, where everything is all cute and magical. This one does not have the vibes, and like, when you go on the world map, it uses realistic-ass trees and like, little plastic-looking chibi characters. It's just not the same, man. And this game came out like, probably 10 years later. You'd think it looked better, but I do not think it does. Not at all. The game itself, it starts with President Roland Crane. He's driving in his limo, and he sees a nuclear missile fly overhead, blow up his city, and his car flips over, and he's about to die, and he gets whisked away to the other country. And he ends up in Evan Pettywhisker Tildrum's room, King of Ding Dong Dell, future King of Ding Dong Dell, and they're staging a coup. So you help Evan escape from the castle, and like, I don't know, you're young too, it's weird. The guy is just like in shock, he's like, wait, am I dead? Why am I young? You know what? I think I'm gonna help you, kid. Let's go. Apparently he's trained with a sword before too, which is weird, but he also carries a Glock, which is also very weird when he busts a cap in a rat night. I've said Ding Dong Dell. Yes, the game is technically set in the world of the first game, but like, I don't know, like 200 or so years later, maybe even 1,000. They don't give you an exact timeline, but there are references to things. The world itself, very different place. A lot less magic. None of the other cities aside from Ding Dong Dell you will recognize. So the thing with Ding Dong Dell is they had like a cat and mouse thing. In the first game, the mice were just like enemies living in the sewer. They technically had a king, but you didn't get the impression that the cat people were oppressing them. Turns out that was the case, and now they're like fighting for their civil rights. And yeah, the coup was to overthrow the cat king and bring a mouse king into the power finally. And, you know, that just led to, like, reverse racism, right? Then the cat people started suffering. They put all of them in the sewers. And, you know, the game explores, like, dark themes like that, but it's all very silly. It's all very episodic. The thing, that's my issue with the way they tell the story. You go to each kingdom, they have their issues, but, like, it has little to no impact on what's going to happen with the overall story, right? You go there, see the issue, ruler's right to rule is questioned, they lose their king spawn, you fight their kingmaker, they forge an alliance with your new kingdom, and then you go on to the next one, rinse and repeat until you've done all of them, and then you finally meet the bad guy who's been stealing the king's bonds the whole time and deal with him. It's just like, you could have had the beginning of the story, told me you built a kingdom, and had the end of the game, and that would have had just as much significance as if you've cut literally any of the chapters out of the game. It feels very much like Persona in that way. Like, very formulaic, but I think Persona did other stuff to keep it interesting, keep things escalating as you went through the things at least. Whereas with this, the fate of the kingdom's on the line each time, you know? There is no escalation in stakes for any of it. So the combat itself, you have like a light and a heavy attack. It feels pretty stiff, like you're locked into a light combo and can finish with a heavy if you want, or you're locked into a heavy combo and cannot light attack out of it. You have a dodge roll. You have a block, which seems to just increase your armor value by a large amount, so it's not always effective. You have a ranged attack, which costs mana, and then you have 4 spells mapped to your face buttons. As you use your weapon, it'll start to glow, and you'll charge up a little zing gauge, which will give you a powered-up version of your spell. And you recruit little Pikmin armies that you can, like, stand near one that's a similar element to your spell, and you'll upgrade it again. They can cast their own little baby spells occasionally. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff to this, but it's a lot more mindless than it sounds. It's pretty uninvolved. And, like, the game's balancing is pretty terrible. You'll go fight an enemy, and it'll say it's, like, level 40, and you're level 60, but it'll fight like it's level 70. All kings have a kingmaker, which is like the game's form of a nuclear weapon. It's just a big monster that asserts your authority. Your kingmaker, however, is just a little fairy. His name's Lofty. He looks a lot like Mr. Drippy. They confirm in one of the expansions that he is in fact from Mr. Drippy's village. And he became a kingmaker through unconventional means. But yeah, you don't have a cool kingmaker. You just have a little Welsh booger thing. I think that's an interesting concept, but Lofty himself is, like, not at all pertinent to the story, nor all the kingmakers. They're just, like, literally summon spirits and you fight them instead of the kings of each area. There's, like, little King's Story-esque army skirmishes you do on the overworld map, too. As you recruit new citizens, some of them will be army men. And you can, like, make them bash into crowds of other enemies. And there's, like, a weapon triangle system with how that works, resistances and such. That's fun enough. The missions aren't fun enough to replay, but, like, as you do new ones, they're fine. The issue is when you have to replay one, you may I find that's too difficult, and then, you know, you do it, you get to keep your XP if you fail, but if you lose like 2 or 3 times, there's a chance the thing will just disappear off the map for a while, and that's incredibly frustrating. After you've completed an area, you're able to complete citizens from around the area, so you know, you go poach citizens from each kingdom, bring the best of the best over to yours. And before you recruit them, they all want you to do side quest, or fetch quest more specifically. The game has so many fucking fetch quests, it's annoying. I like couldn't even be fucked to read most of the stuff. There's technically a little bio for each citizen, but I do not care, dog. So they just became research tokens essentially, because they have special abilities. And you'll be like, this guy is spiffing smithing, he'll help you build better armor. And then you'll go to your armor research tree, and it's like you need 2 citizens with spiffing smithing and 1 with true brilliance. So you gotta like get all kinds of different people reason to do it. However, if you're playing on hard or legendary or whatever, the loot that drops will be above anything you are capable of crafting at any point in the game. Your crafting is capped at like plus 10, and you'll be finding plus 15, plus 20 versions of the same stuff. So I found myself not crafting at all until I got into the end game, where it was all DLC stuff, where you can craft unique legendary things with special bonus perks on that will contain like 3 effects rather than just a standard 2. And that was the only time I really bothered with crafting. Otherwise, the town is really just there for researching stuff, which is small bonuses, stuff like any orbs you find from smashing pots will give you more health or mana back, more drops, more shit scattered around the map, more XP gain, whatever. And you can get new higgledies, those are little Pikmin things. You can craft new ones to get a perfect setup. If you happen to match ones that have similar accessories on them, you'll get a bonus perk. It's called a Higgle Gaggle. I don't know, man. There's just like lots of mechanics. None of them have very much depth, and then like they don't really feed into each other. You can totally ignore the town for almost the entire game if you want, just because like these bonuses just aren't worth it. Aside from getting more XP, like why do I need to craft any of this stuff if it's gonna be worse than what I'm finding? And again, this story, it feels like very inconsequential. It's too episodic, too compartmentalized. You can like skip entire parts of it and not be lost. You have companions. There's sword guys, axe guys, and spear guys. I did not like using the spear characters at all, but there's 2 of each. So I basically just kept Roland, Evan, and Batu, like the first 3 companions you get together for the entire game. Didn't really work with the other guys. There's a lab you can use to upgrade your spells by minuscule amounts, and doing so costs materials, and you have to do it 1 level at a time, 15 levels for each spell. It's very slow and tedious. You're like, yes, you sure you want to upgrade this? Yes. Okay, watch the little animation. Takes like a minute. And then, yes, I would like to upgrade this again. Okay, it sucks. It sucks. And the exploration, like combat stuff, it's fine. It's serviceable. There's not too much depth to it. It feels pretty imbalanced, but whatever. I forgot to mention, you have like a tactics tweaker thing. What am I trying to put away? Armor. I have a robe. Your Kingmaker's power is a tactics tweaker, so you can, like, in between fights, adjust dials to be like, do more damage versus slimy enemies or solid enemies, pretty or brutal, royal or natural. Like, they seem to be very left and right versions of things, but they are not like at all correlated in encounter design, if that makes sense. Adds in, you can do more damage to the slimy or the solid enemies, but when you go into an encounter, you will fight both slimy and solid. They are never mutually exclusive. You would think that you go into a dungeon and be like, okay, this one has fairy, nature, and slime types. But no, it has all the types. And you don't want to switch between each fight, so you'll end up not tweaking it at all. There are some other settings on it, like you can adjust whether you prioritize gold or items or XP or whatever. Or you can do resistances for each element. And there's some static things. You can like upgrade the damage of your heavy attacks, the strength of your blocks, how quickly you can charge up a ranged attack. Charging up a ranged attack is pointless because you will do a lot more damage for the same amount of mana if you just spam the attack instead. Her hands is over here. Yeah, man, I had, like, okay thoughts about the game when I played it the first time for, like, 20 hours, and then I left it on my computer installed for, like, 6 years, and I only got back around to playing it just now. And now I'm, like, disappointed. I somehow liked it a lot less. The town especially, just super disappointing. The gameplay itself, alright, but, like, stiff feeling, not very polished. And yeah, that's the main game. However, there was one cool thing. When you get to the expansions, after you beat the game, you can unlock the ability to play the expansions. I feel quite hungry. And there you unlock stuff called martial methods, which changes up the gameplay, actually. There are a couple of them for each expansion. There are like 3 of them. So one lets you have like a second spell wheel with gadgets that are all very specific. They're pretty useful. But seem like they are very specifically made for the Labyrinth one. There's the Wizard's Compendium, which gives you the book from the first game and lets you use the spell casting from the first game. Play a little rhythm game every time you cast a spell to buff it, which is pretty cool. The Ding Dong Discipline lets you do witch time dodge attacks for perfect dodges. Very overpowered. Martha's Methods lets you do higgledy focused things that makes them like auto regenerate so you can use their abilities a lot more often, powers up their abilities. It replaces your ranged attack with a fucking massive death ball. It's pretty overpowered as well. And I think that was it. You can also get some upgrades for the default settings too, so it doesn't fall behind. Alright, I know I'm just wandering around. I am lost in thought. That was cool, and that's what kept me playing for a bit past it, but once I, like, started to plateau, you know, I hit, like, a wall where the enemies are too hard again. I wasn't getting as much XP as I was before, and I wasn't finding new upgrades, I wasn't unlocking new things. I've got all legendary gear, and it's still not enough. That's when I finally gave up. I did not end up finishing these expansions. And the expansions themselves, guess what they are? Procedural dungeons, which are already in the game in the form of dreamer doors. You just fucking rush through boring empty corridors, do the occasional fight. And, like, it's all fucking baby dick easy until you get to the boss, like, 30, 20 floors later. Which takes a very long time, at least 20 to 30 minutes. And then that boss just splits your asshole open because it's way stronger than anything you've been fighting on the way to it. And that's not fun, alright? I don't like losing an hour of my life to imbalance like that. And that's what the normal dungeons were like, but they thought you needed more of these random dungeons with nothing fun going on in them. Endless Labyrinth had a couple of unique mechanics, but they were like one-off things. You know, it introduces it, you deal with that until you get to the next new mechanic, and then the old one is gone.
Good day, Henry.
And then the other one... Sorry, I'm just going to pause and finish this because we're almost done talking about it. The other one is like a nightmare thing, right? And you were supposed... It tells you this is like a level 120 quest, but you were supposed to do it as you went to each town. So when I did this at the end of the game, I started it, and I went and did the first thing. It's like, oh, this is level 20. And it was really fucking boring until I got through all that and got to the actual level 120 stuff at the end. And again, just like boring stuff, go to places you've already been. The occasional fight a imbalanced, way too hard boss. And then they had like endless combat arenas, literally called the Sloggaseum. You will go through fucking combat slogs, and they're a good place to earn XP, but it's still like very grindy. And then you have to fight a boss, which will take a long time. They just like have way too much health, especially when I was doing the lower level stuff. I was fighting guys that would literally do 1 damage to me, and I'd have to sit there and mash light attack for like 20 fucking minutes because they had that much health. It was fucking stupid, alright? I wasn't a fan of any of that. There was some story to both of them, but not much. The Dream one specifically went into characters' past a bit, elaborate on characters, stuff that should have been in the main game. And I liked that, I guess. But, you know, I have issues with the story too. I already talked about how it was episodic and pointless, but like, I don't know, we're gonna talk to Hans first, so I don't have to freaking wait, but...
Well, if it isn't the world-renowned victor of the...
I think I want to do a spoiler discussion, alright?
Is there anything I can help you with, Sir Hans?
Ah, Henry, the very man I wanted. There is something you can do for me. You see? I'm in love.
Ah, there's a new wench at the madhouse, is there?
Watch it, Henry. This is the love of my life we're talking about, not some wench. The face of an angel, breasts like silk pillows to dream on, and...
Whoa.
Good strong hips.
Uba.
A regular Helen of Troy.
Troy? Isn't that near Prague? I don't know anyone from there.
Never mind, blockhead. What I'm saying is, she's a fine filly, and you can help me win her.
Fine filly?
Sounds like fun. I'm all ears.
You, Hal, shall be my messenger of love. You shall bear her a letter and a gift from a secret admirer.
But why me? It's not like you to be bashful, Sir Hans. You can just go and tell her,
Certainly not. Carolina is different to the others. She was educated in a convent and needs to be handled with kid gloves. Romanced. I must court her secretly. It's the latest fashion in France.
And who is this Carolina?
The fairest maid that ever walked the earth. Carolina. The butcher's daughter. You must have noticed a divine creature in the marketplace. Unless you're more interested in barnyard animals.
No. Probably smells like blood, dude.
Carolina. I do know her. She's a pretty girl, alright, but, well, a little below your station.
Love knows no station but the heart. And you keep your peasant eyes off her. Your task is simple. All you have to do is get hold of a necklace fine enough to grace her lovely neck. I did have one that I inherited from my great-grandmother. Unfortunately, not anymore.
What happened? You gamble it?
What happened to it?
I lost it playing
Yep.
dice at the end. But you'll get it back for me. You're a smart lad. I'm sure you'll figure out a way. And I'll reward you handsomely.
All right.
Then. Is there something else I should know about this necklace?
I lost it at dice in the Ledechko Tavern when I was there to see... Well,
Adela.
Important.
So, some dice player from Ledechko won your grandmother's valuable necklace. Haven't you learned anything from losing to Zdena, the bathhouse wench?
My great-grandmother's. And as it happens, I have learned a trick or two. But that fellow has the luck of the devil. No doubt he'll still be sitting there, swindling other folk out of their hard-earned groschen.
Oh, what's the use? All right. I'll go to Ledechko, find this diabolical dice player and see what I can do. Though I'll probably lose my shirt to him.
Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
God be with you.
Yeah, I don't have money. I'm just gonna pick out his pants. So, before we get into spoiler territory, I would say, I think the game took roughly 60 hours for the story. And that was me doing, like, most of the content on the way. Maybe you can do it sooner, but I think that it's pretty grindy, and I was only, like, just able to scrape by the final boss by the hair on my ass, so I'd recommend doing everything.
I'm honored that you...
And after you beat the game and XP starts pouring on you like a fucking fountain,
Take care now.
then the boss will be a cakewalk, but, you know, whatever.
Can we do something?
What was I saying?
Since it's...
That sounds... Finally.
Right, the length. I played roughly 100, I think. I was, in fact, in a trance of, wow, I'm leveling up so fast, I'm getting so much money, I might actually be able to get through all this content in a lot quicker time than I thought. But no, I dumped like an extra 40 hours into the game, and chose not to finish it when I got tired of fucking grinding. Like, I wasn't having fun. I can only go through so many of the boring empty dungeons before I got fucking tired. And then when I got to the final boss of the labyrinth, specifically the Prince of Wraiths, this guy is an asshole. He just attacks relentlessly. He has moves that he can shoot projectiles, he can jump from one end of the arena to the other, fucking one-hit you every time. Your best bet is to use Ding Dong Discipline to get their Witch Time attacks on them, but even that, you can find yourself getting hit during it. It's fucking lame. Oh, and speaking of imbalance, there are some enemies that are like super enemies, right? And they're just big versions of normal ones. But they're not always fair, man. The slime ones specifically, they have an attack where they just like do a little swing with their head, you know, just a quick little swipe. But it's such a quick animation, there is no wind up on it at all. They just go right for it out of nowhere. And, you know, when they're a small enemy, it's inconsequential. But when they're a big one and they do it like the same speed, just as fast, no wind up, and it's able to fucking one-hit you, it is ass. There are a couple enemies that do similar things, but the slimes stand out in particular. Okay, now let's spoil the story of a game that came out in like probably 2014. I don't know. It's been a long time, all right. Long enough for me to not give a shit. So I told you about the beginning. You're the president from the other from our world. He gets brought into the fantasy world to help Evan in the middle of a coup. If you played the first game, you know that the people in this other world are like counterparts of people from our world. So I was thinking, wow, your country just got destroyed. This kid's country is about to be destroyed in a different way. Maybe Evan is your counterpart. But no, that's not the case. Your counterpart is actually the villain of the game, which they bring out of nowhere. They just pull this plot point out of their ass. This has not been a relevant thing at any other point in the story. The thing that made the first game unique was that you'd go back and forth between the normal world and the fantasy world and solve puzzles like that way. But you do not go back to your world because it was fucking destroyed. You were stuck in the fantasy world the whole time. Roland's inclusion in the game is almost entirely irrelevant to the story. And, like, this guy has a family and stuff that he just never talks about. He's just, like, into it. He's like, yep, I am here now. This is my life. I do not miss my kid until the very end where he thinks about them. In one of the expansion dungeons, you actually go and learn a bit more about Roland's kid, and you see that he was reading all these books in the hospital that sound very similar to the issues going in this world. So, like, the whole thing could very well be like a coma or something too, which would invalidate the entire story. But the normal end of the game, you kill your counterpart. He's like a guy obsessed with bringing his country back after it was destroyed a long time ago, so it doesn't quite line up with what's going on with Roland, but alright. You show him the error of his ways. He learns that he's gonna restart his country the right way without freaking destroying the rest of the world in the process. And that, like, gives you the power to recreate yours or something. You go back into your world, better reality, leave everything you just built behind. And that's sad in a way, that you'll never get to see your new friends or whatever. It's not at all as happy as being able to go back and forth like Oliver could.
I'm honored that you should come.
Are you the one who played dice with Lord Capon?
Played and won, lad. Fine noble he may be, but he can no more throw dice than I can read Latin.
I can't disagree with you there. But look here, have you still got that piece of jewellery you won from him?
No, I don't. Some noble rode through here and we had a game or two. Only them dice kept falling his way. I was lucky to keep my boots. He's got them now.
Do you know where this fellow was heading?
He was waiting for someone here, but when they didn't show up by midday, he rode on. He mentioned something about camping by the bridge over the Sasau River. That one before the charcoal burners camp. You might still catch him there with a bit of luck.
There aren't many fords along the river on the way to Sasau. Can you tell me anything else about him?
Fine gent he was, well dressed, on horseback. Had quite a lot to say. Seems he saw a bit of the world. And he had some interesting looking dice.
You said they fell well for him?
Aye, no wonder. Fine dice they was, made special. All shiny and whatnot.
That's all I
cheated.
Goodbye.
Is it gonna mark that on my map for me, or am I gonna have to find a bridge to charcoal burn camp? Alright. That's a long walk. What was I saying? Yeah, I said you could just go to the beginning and the end, and that's more or less the whole story. So, like, and that was it, right? The guy was trying to bring back his kingdom, you know, destroying the rest of the world in the process, as all he cared about was obsession, whatever. And Evan's just like, no, we can all live together. And then he goes and fights them. He's like, okay, I'll be a good guy now. Just like what happened to all the other kingdoms. It felt like just another episode, very inconsequential, very stupid. And Roland goes home. I should mention that it introduces you to the game, like the combat mechanics and whatnot, as Roland. But then the protagonist very quickly switches to Evan as your main character. I mentioned that Roland, he more or less does not need to be in this game. He's only here so they can call it Ni No Kuni. Otherwise, it could have been its own IP. But like when you're in town or whatever, you are locked playing Evan. All of the quests you do, you're talking as Evan. And Evan has like the entire story on his back. Like Roland is not the protagonist, even though he's set up as it at first, which is really weird. And Evan, he's like a fucking catboy, femboy thing. Everybody calls him a trap, and it's hilarious. He's very much a boy, I promise you. But yeah, he's just a little bitch. He's a little kid. He's too innocent, too pure. He just wants to make a kingdom where everybody can live happily ever after. He's not at all salty about getting his kingdom usurped. So yeah, he's just annoyingly good, stupid. Kind of like Soray from Tales of Zestria. You just, like, wish that he was less of a fucking two-dimensional character. He had more depth to him. But it's like, no, I'm the good guy. I am good. I do virtuous things. Right, so one of my biggest complaints, though, is, after you've done the first kingdom, right, that you go and do some research to figure out what's going on with the other kingdoms, whether or not it's even going to be feasible to unite the whole world. And you're told that it has happened before, a long time ago in the past, by King Ferdinand. And you're like, oh, no way, how'd he do it? And they tell you about it. And at the end of the game, it's revealed that this Ferdinand, who's a little kid who's been talking to you in between chapters, kind of like Persona 3, right? Yeah, he's actually Evan's son, and he can send his mind through time. So everything that he told him is stuff that Evan told to him. So basically, that's a time paradox, where Evan is only succeeding because Evan succeeded already in the past. And his kid helped him succeed later on. Like, what the fuck? I don't like that. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't make sense. If he had a more interesting story the first time, struggling to do all this crap, I think I would have preferred to hear that version, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was stupid, and like Ferdinand, he's completely irrelevant to the story too. He's just kind of there to, I don't know, pad things out. You see Evan, he does his thing, and then it cuts to the future as a cutscene. Ferdinand's the one uniting the world, you know?
What are you doing, you murderer?
Which, like, why am I supposed to care about him doing it? Evan did it. It just may say that he united the world. Come on, man.
I didn't kill anyone. The corpse was already lying there when I got here.
I saw you robbing the corpse.
I was looking for signs of life, to see if I could help.
Ah, and could you?
Oh.
Unfortunately not anymore.
All right. I suppose you're not the guilty one after all.
I'm glad you saw sense.
What are you doing here?
Anyway.
What are you getting at?
It'll be easier for you if you confess.
You can't go flinging around accusations against honest folk. I'm going to the town to report you. You see if I don't.
Jesus Christ. Ugh! Don't report me, I report you. That was an argument of who got to accuse first. There we go, I got landed a hit that time. Archery's hard. Alright, so, like, the individual chapters, we'll talk about those just for the sake of it. So at first, you go through Cloud Coil Canyon, and you run into the Sky Snakes. They're a band of sky pirates. They have little propeller planes. This is before you have your kingdom, but, you know, you get captured by them, and they're like, oh, we'll let you live if you go save our leader's daughter, because she got captured by wyverns. All the monsters are intelligent, by the way. Like, it's really weird when you butcher them, because they talk, and, like, there are bandits in the game, too. They actually have really cool models, but you very rarely ever fight them, only in specific side quests. So, like, it's weird that you're murdering the talking monsters, but it's not okay when you kill a human. Anyways, you save the daughter. She's in our companion. And you come back, and Daddy's like, you know what, kid? I thought you were going to be a good king. We're all going to swear allegiance to you. So now you and your band of bandits are going to go form a fucking kingdom. These guys just all turn a new leaf just like that. And they talk like pirates, too. They're called sky pirates, but they talk like sea pirates, you know? Call each other scurvy dogs. Aw, curse ye. Anyways, Batu, he has a dad stash and a massive cock. He fights with a hammer, so I like him. He's cool. You know, that part of the game was fine. After that, you go and found your kingdom. You just spring it up overnight, whatever. Then you have to go to the big forest to get trees. And there you find Yoda, and he's like, I gambled away the rights to my forest. Please go to Goldpaw and gamble to get my forest back for me, and I will give you my trees. Like, alright, let's go there. You go to Goldpaw, and you find that everybody is in massive debt. They're all cursed with these annoying birds that just, like, squawk how much money you owe constantly until you pay it off. And you find out that the government has been, like, cheating. Their whole law there is that they set everything up to fate, so, like, you play dice games to make official decisions, and they've been using rigged dice, so stuff like raising taxes for everyone has been going on for years. And everybody there is just living in poverty. You have to go prove that they're cheating, and that's kind of cool. Basically, you find the place where the dice are being made for government officials, figure out how it works, and then Lofty flings a booger at the dice in the middle of a trial. You're like, oh, yeah, that's not okay. And, you know, that gets his right to rule question. Bad guy shows up, takes the bond, you fight the Kingmaker, and he's like, oh, yeah, I didn't mean any of that. I'm so sorry, guys. Please, don't execute me. I'm gonna stay leader. And your taxes will all go back to normal. I promise. God forbid you do a fucking dice roll to decide whether or not that's the right thing to do. Noblemen. I'm looking for a camp. I don't know. That was just like... It was fine. It's just a massive stretch of game before you get to that, you know? Going from your kingdom to the forest and then to the next city is literally the whole first continent. very long stretch of game, and then you do a lot of back and forth between the two places, doing all this stuff. After that, you decide to get a boat, right? This is after you've done your research and learned about Ferdinand, whatever fucking plot hole. They tell you to go to the very bottom of the continent, just a little more walking, and get yourself a boat. You find out that the boat builders have been captured by some sea monster. You go kill it, they build you a boat, whatever. And you got your boat. Very standard JRPG progression. You go to Hydropolis, the next area, and here you get to witness some first-hand BDSM. Queen Nina and her servant boy Leander have set up some very strict laws that seem ridiculous. Nobody's allowed to fall in love. Nobody's allowed to get sick. Nobody's allowed to die. Nobody's allowed to go climb up to high places. Nobody's allowed to leave. Everybody's just okay with this. It seems fucking ridiculous. But in the cutscenes, Queen Nina is just like, she summons Leander, she's like, oh, come here, Leander. Fucking steps on him in her high heels. Why are you doing this? You'll do anything I say, won't you, little bitch boy? Yes, my queen. Very cringe dialogue to listen to. But basically, all you do to get into an audience with them is break some of these laws, like, all at once in a kind of funny cutscene. And that gets you summoned, and right away she's like, oh, yeah, you're a king, okay, we forgive you. Sends Leander to join your party. You go collect some shit. And you come back, and she is gonzo. And, you know, her right to rule being questioned doesn't really make sense. She just kind of gives it up willingly. But, yeah, you just go through, like, a dungeon for seemingly no reason, and you come out of that, and she's like, oh my god, I feel so much better, dog. Basically, she's always wanted to marry Leander. That was the whole point. She wanted him to assert dominance over her, so she was being real strict with him, I guess. But, you know, he was just happy being a sub, and, the whole thing with the walls was that the kingdom was destroyed, like, several hundred years ago, right? And they used magic to preserve it, but basically, the number of people she's protecting is not allowed to change. Otherwise, it'll all fall apart. And calamity will happen. The whole thing is, like, very Greek architecture. It's probably based off the Isle of Crete or something. It was destroyed by a volcano. So, first off, does not make any sense whatsoever, because the curse should have been broken as soon as you docked at this fucking town, because you just brought, like, how many fucking people? Just saying. Second off, after she gets her fucking marriage confession from Leander, she's like, yeah, alright, we're good, we're done, I'll let the kingdom fall apart now. I just wanted to get married, alright? I just wanted to spend one last day with you for a couple hundred years. And then, even after that, the kingdom does not get destroyed. It's just like they have a time limit, apparently, but it's irrelevant. You're not going to encounter it at any point in the story. And, like, nobody's working on ways to prevent the disaster either, which is really fucking weird. So that was that whole chapter. Then you go on to the next place, which is, like, Robot Land. Apparently Steve Jobs became a king somehow. He turned his little company, little robotics company. It's not Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. He has an Apple head, that's why I call him Steve Jobs, but he looks like Bill Gates. Bro, where's this fucking camp? It's not this. It says before the charcoal burners. Is it across the bridge? Yeah, so you go here, and this guy, Zip Vector, like from fucking Despicable Me, he is hilariously evil. He's got, like, statues of his face all over the place. He fucking summons his Kingmaker, which is a giant fucking Blastoise-ass tortoise with tanks and shit on it. You go destroy the fucking protesters. And he's just like, I don't need you. I don't need any of you. I just want to build my fucking nuclear reactor and let you all work to death. I'm the king. The whole thing there is you have to find memories to help him remember how he started the company, make him feel bad about himself, and that's what happens. He questions his own right to rule, I guess. And you have to fight his Kingmaker, which is, like, really OP. Harder than any of the other ones for certain. And there, Lofty actually shows you that he does have a cool form. He doesn't need to be a little booger man. He can turn into a big golden dragon, and it's the only time you see it. But it was like a massive difficulty spike from whatever you were doing beforehand, which is just shitty.
Are you after something? I'm afraid my friend here won't tell you much.
Your friend? Oh, I'm very sorry. And, well, I don't want to be insensitive, but I was hoping to get something from him. My master's necklace, which he won at dice.
Your master? Who would that be?
Well, Sir Radzig Cobbler of Skalitz is my liege lord. I'm Henry, but just now I'm helping Sir Hans Capon with a private matter.
Those are weighty names in these parts. I'm Sir Anselm of Donkey, in the service of...
Donkey?
Well, that's not important. I'd like to give you... that is... I'd like to ask you for your help.
I'm listening. Tell me what you know.
I will. And I'm sure it will help you find that necklace. The thing is, this is all my fault. I got held up on the way to meet Alphonse. By the time I got here, I found him like this.
God have mercy on his soul.
Amen, lad. I was heartbroken and enraged by turns, tearing my hair and cursing. Alphonse was my good friend, and it pains me to know he was only here on account of me. I brought him into a certain business matter to negotiate with some people, and he agreed. And this is how it ended up. When I finally pulled myself together, I took a look around and found some tracks. I followed them to the camp of those very brigands that Alphonse was supposed to negotiate with.
Nah, you can't trust anyone these days. So how can I help?
You can pass yourself off as Alphonse. Get into the bandits' camp and find that fucking murderer. And when you do, you'll find what you're looking for.
That doesn't make any sense. If one of them killed Alphonse, he'll know I'm not him.
No. They never saw him before. So whoever killed him surely took him for some passing merchant.
Are you quite sure they don't know him?
Aye. He moved in altogether different circles, among decent people. That's the very reason I asked him for help. So I reckon the best thing is for you to introduce yourself as Alphonse, have a snoop around, and come back to me when you find out anything.
Alright.
Is there anything else I should watch out for while passing myself off as Alphonse?
The main thing is to look and sound like a noble, not a peasant. A commoner. So dress the part. No rags or rusty iron.
What was the purpose of Sir Alphonse's negotiations? I'll need to know that.
Look, Henry, you'd best avoid that subject if at all possible. Just find the murderer for me, get your necklace, and I'll take care of the rest.
It'll be a bit hard to avoid that, since it was supposed to be the entire purpose of his visit.
True. Well, Alphonse was supposed to talk Erhard into moving his robbing raids towards Benishov, especially holding up merchants' wagons heading for Prague. In return, he was to offer a reward of up to 12,000 groschen and safe haven in Pilgrims.
I see. So you work for someone in Pilgrims?
No, neither Pilgrims nor Benishov. Nor Vlashim, for that matter. It's a bit complicated.
You just lying? Supposed to hire these brigands? Ah.
My word, the whole thing sounds like quite a twisted affair.
So are you gonna help me?
I guess. Gotta get
I'll
that
help
damn
you.
necklace.
I'll have to go there to look for the necklace anyway, and this seems as good a way as any.
Thanks 1,000-fold. And for the love of God, don't get caught. I'd never forgive myself if another man lost his life on my account. If it starts to look risky, take to your heels.
I'll bear that in mind. Could it be someone was trying to get rid of something here?
Oh, I didn't want to sleep.
You can't be serious, sleeping in other people's beds. Get out or you'll be sorry. How dare you sleep in someone else's bed? Get lost.
Shut up.
Someone was searching for something here.
This is an inn.
Were they out
Get
to
the hell
rob him
out
of
of
everything he had? Or something in particular? Looks like he died without a struggle.
What are you doing lying here? Get the hell out.
They took it.
Dare you sleep in someone else? Young fellow, you can't sleep here.
I forgot to mention, in Science Land, you get your final companion, Bracken, and she has fat tits. That's her whole thing. She's the other Hammer character. You can, like, summon a robot drone as one of her special abilities, but I didn't really use her.
Get up! What are you doing lying here? Get the hell out!
There's something else. I've no more questions.
You can't be serious.
You can't be serious. Alright, so that's all that happened there. That was actually incredibly straightforward. Like, you take your boat out of Hydropolis, and you learn how to make the boat jump. That's the special thing, and then you go to this next part of the continent. It's like the final one. You walk across like a wasteland, because people have been dumping nuclear waste in their area. It's just like a fucking desert. And in the side quest, you'll see that the local monsters are mad that they've got their forest destroyed, but, you know, it's whatever. And you get to the tower, and it's like, here's the plot. You literally go up an elevator to the dungeon, work your way up to the top, and then you're done. The most straightforward place out of the bunch. And, like, to the north of the place, there's a snow area, and to the south, there's a desert area, but you need your new airship. The Ziplin, it's called. It had a big zip face on it. Use that to get to those. But there's no meaningful content there. I think technically the Holy Sword was somewhere in the snow area, but you didn't have to explore it all to find it. They tell you where to go, you go there, you cast a spell, dungeon appears, go in. This dungeon looks the same as so many other dungeons you've already been in, it's not even unique. And the fucking Holy Sword you get isn't even very good either. It does bonus damage against the final boss, that's all it's good for. Anyways, after you've done Science Land, you go back to Ding Dong Dell finally. And this one's very long-winded, a lot of talking. But basically there's a chapter where Roland pretends to be a traitor. And he does like some super spy stuff to infiltrate the castle and locate a special key that'll let Evan take the secret entrance into the castle without running into armies. It was kind of a cool section, but a little too long. and you saw him use these weird magic gadgets, like a little worm that would match itself into the shape of a key. Or he had like a higgledy bomb that would be a flashbang. Put on some sunglasses for that. He used a paint bullet to kill someone he knew. Then once you actually fly in there, you're just like, alright, we got into the town, we talked to the locals. Oh no, cat people oppressed. Go into the sewers, meet cat people. And now you're invited into the castle. Or, no. You hear from the people that the king was actually very nice to the mice and he wanted there to be peace. But somebody was like, no, the cats are all racist, we must kill them. So you go into the tombs to find your father's journal, and that tells you that, yeah, he was in fact nice and he loved Mousinger and whatnot. That's the bad mouse's name, Mousinger. And as you go there, you talk to Mousinger, and he's just like, I don't believe you. Cats are racist. And you fight him, very difficult fight. And immediately after, no healing or anything, you gotta fight the fucking Kingmaker, which isn't so bad, but again, fucking difficult. And it turns out his fat assistant has been the one whispering lies in his ear, kind of like the... What was the guy? The Worm from Lord of the Rings? I think his name was just the Worm. His title, at least, he was whispering in the fucking old King of Rohan's ear. He was like a servant of Sauron or whatever. Pretty much like that. I forgot to mention, each Kingmaker has a little mechanic to them. They'll, like, drop meteors out of the sky or something. And, you know, you'll smash the meteor, it'll make a little high maker. And they'll cast a unique spell to help you with the fight. Very inconsequential. A lot of times, you just don't even need it. Oh my god, it's Nico. Hello, Nico. I'm using Reshade, but I'm actually on, like, default mid to low settings, because this game runs like ass if you tweak any of the settings. So, I'm sad to hear that it looks less good than this on console, because I think the popping is absolutely horrendous right now. What was the point of that cutscene? This game, when did it come out? Like 2016? I'm sure the PS4 was fine for it. Just CryEngine that's ass. That's the whole issue, man.
Would I be right in assuming this is the encampment of Sir Erhard, Baron Bielewitz?
You must be Sir Alphonse, eh? All the way from Prague, eh?
Are you from Canada?
Prague, yes, quite. But I travelled via Gurum, thinking it the less hazardous route, comparatively.
Oh, aye. The roads ain't safe at all these days. There's all sorts of rabble waiting to rob unwary folk and even kill them.
Indeed, indeed, I concur. One must be wary, well, cautious even, when travelling.
Right then, but you'll have to wait a while. Sir Erhard is busy at the moment.
No matter, I shall just,
but it's easy to pass the time here. There's always a dice game going on, with nice things being wagered. I had my eye on a fine pair of gauntlets. And
what is this accent?
Jewelry, you say?
That's right. Just go and see old Blaha, the fellow sitting at that table.
Blaha?
He can read, write, and do sums as good as any scribe. And other things, too. He keeps things in shape here a bit.
Thank you. I may well do that.
Oh god, a dice tournament. I'm so bad at Yahtzee. That was the orange slop of life.
Well, I was a sentry at Ratai, but they paid chicken feed, so I joined up with this lot instead.
You? A sentry? You have it.
We're just not supposed to talk to anyone. We gotta play dice and get the fuck out.
I was told I could have a game or two here until Sir Erhard has time to see me.
Aye, he's got his hands full at the moment. You must be Sir Alphonse, eh? I'm Blaha, Sir Erhard's servant. I take care of things here a bit.
Including dice? It has come to my attention that there are interesting things being wagered.
True enough, we've got a fine pair of plate gauntlets, 2 necklaces, one of them's a lovely piece, a good sharp sword, and some other things, I don't remember what. The custom here is if you want to play, you've got to wager something to join.
I regret I have no valuables on my person. I thought it wiser to travel light, on account of thieves.
Well, under the circumstances, it wouldn't be polite to deprive you of a bit of entertainment while waiting. You want to play right away, or...?
Yeah, okay, let me just freaking play for something without betting.
Why wait? I'll play now.
No beating around the bush. That's the way. You'll play against Noggin now. He's not the brightest, and he ain't a good loser.
Alright, let's play Yahtzee. And get back to spoiling Ni No Kuni 2's story, because it wasn't very good. Odd dice, like those. Lucky die. That was the end of that act. Basically, Mousinger stays in power, but he's not racist anymore. And he's like, you know what? Maybe the cats and the mice can live together like the last king was trying to do the whole time, yeah? Pretty good first roll, actually. I'll just keep that. And you know, it just works, right? There is no racial tension or anything throughout the game because this story is so episodic. You don't go back to places and find new problems. There's like, oh, mice aren't actually bad. Cats aren't actually bad. Let's live together now, just like that. No years of oppression, whatever. Think about. And that was the final Great Kingdom, so like after that, a big meteor falls from the sky and the Horned One appears. And he starts sucking souls out of people, so there's like corpses just lying around. And we've already talked about the end, so like, that's all there really is to that. The Horned One appears, you go kill the Horned One, and then you fight the bad guy. Golden Roar again. What's funny about this is you can't start the DLCs until you have finished the game. But because of the way the game ends, with Roland going home, it has to take place before the final mission once you go back for endgame content.
Killing, fighting, never losing.
And that means that, like, even though everything is allegedly peaceful,
Burn the village, drink an and pillage. Burning, wrecking, making strife.
There's still these corpses just lying around on the ground. That's just the final state of the game you were stuck in, where people are missing their souls, and people are looking at fucking dead people out in the streets. Real happy stuff. God forbid they said it like a week before Roland disappears or whatever, just after the boss is killed. And yeah, that was the entire freaking story. Episodic, inconsequential stuff. Some things were hilariously childish. It's trying to tackle dark themes, but it doesn't do it very well. And DLC additions. You learned that the little girl, Tawny, she is actually adopted because Batu was a bandit and he found her mom dead in the woods and he took the kid in. Doesn't add anything to the story, but whatever. When you learn more about Ferdinand, you find people are working against him. You don't get to see the start nor end of that plot, so it's whatever. It doesn't matter. They imply that Tawny is his mother, though, so whatever. Evan fucks. You learn about Martha's past. Apparently, she led a higgledy rebellion against the Wyverns at some point. That's kind of badass, TBH. Some bullshit about a Nightmare King, I don't know. It felt like nothing happened, it's just another enemy with the way that whole questline was structured. Something about freeing the God of Gods. I did not get to finish that one because I gave up. I was too bored by that point in the game. Said you learned about Roland's kid. We already talked about that. It may invalidate the entire story with it being a coma dream or whatever. You learn about Bad Guy 2. She explains what brought Roland into her world. That would have been good to know before, I guess. What brought Roland into the fantasy world, I mean, not our world. I don't know, again, these things were just like, you went through places that you've already been, occasional fight, imbalanced hard boss. And then you got some cutscene at the end of the one. It was the Wizard Companion Dream thing, whatever. That was like the good DLC. The fucking Endless Labyrinth, that one was ass. But it did add some fun new martial methods. The thing is, both of these were implemented into the game so poorly that, like, you get them around level 30. But they are listed as fucking level 120 quests. And you start them as like, oh, that was in fact meant for me when I was level 30. I was just supposed to go until I hit a wall and come back later. Maybe even play it throughout the entire game. Give me a little extra to do instead of grinding out stuff. But you don't know, because it's implemented so poorly.
Camp life sure ain't easy. Fuck.
I don't know, man. Those are all the thoughts, alright? The main game was, like, lackluster, and after wasting so much extra time on it, trying to give the DLC a chance, I am overall extremely disappointed with my whole experience. And it's sad, because the first time I played it, I liked it, but I also didn't finish it, so, you know, maybe I was blinded by something at the time.
Fuck. I'm almost sober again.
Oh, hell yeah, we get more rolls. A triple. So, yeah, final thoughts. The game itself, probably like a 6. With how much time it stole from me after I finished it. I'm knocking points off for disrespecting me. So we're giving it a 5. Honestly, it doesn't even need to be Ni No Kuni, as I said. So, like, respect the first game, play the first game, it's very good. Maybe check out 2 if you have a passing interest in these kinds of things. As I always have to point out, action RPGs are, like, rarely made. And they're all pretty problematic, almost all of them. Like Kingdoms of Amalur. That one's good. But then you have Gothic, Elix, Risen, whatever. Even The Witcher 1 and 2, they all have problems. They're all around the 5-6 range. Some even below that. So, you know, I'd say it's still somehow on average. But I expected more from it, because it had a much bigger budget, let's say.
Filth and stink everywhere.
I ended up having a lot more to say about that than I thought I did. I thought I was going to be nice, and he's like, oh, it's okay, and then I ended up fucking shitting on it. I got angrier about it the more I thought about it. I don't think I was enjoying the game. I had Stockholm Syndrome.
I'm so hungry I can eat my boots.
So, like, in terms of improving the town, this is what I wanted to talk about next to Cult of the Lamb. I think if it did stuff like Cult of the Lamb, it could have worked better. Like, maybe instead, if they wanted to have their Diablo loot, they could have made it so loot only appears after you have unlocked the ability to craft it. Because there is a little checkmark system after you have crafted something, so it knows what you've made. And it counts each unique item that you've made, right? So maybe you have to make a specific thing before it'll appear, and then you have to, like, research specific things before specific enchantments can appear on things. But instead, what you get is you make a thing, it's probably not as good as what drops from the enemies. And you don't even get to get random enchantment on it. Like, it's going to have the same set enchantment every time you make it, and that's ass because you can get much better things from random drops that do not hold the same restrictions.
You're a fucking cheat.
You're a fucking cheat.
I challenge you to a duel.
Fuck off.
I won't take any accusations from you. I accept.
Alright, where's my sword? It was already drawn. Ah! Ah! Have at you. Oh, I fucking one-hit him. His name's Noggin.
Give up your weapon, and you can go.
All right.
Oh, duelist. That's a new sword. Ain't good. Long sword, so it's a two-hander. Fragile. 62, 62, 3. Not as good. He's way OP for a short sword.
I'm so hungry I can eat my boots.
I want to play dice. Who will be my opponent?
They fell your way last time, and no mistake. You'll play Berta. He's a man, but they call him that for some reason. Damned if I know why.
Alright. We do have a little time left, right? We're at 3 hours. We'll probably finish this particular quest, just to dice and whatnot. But we do have something. Bloody hell. This was a free game that came out. I just played it on a whim. So, literally go download it right now because it's pretty fun. It's a twin-stick Metroidvania. So it plays like Enter the Gungeon or something, but, you know, it's not a roguelike. Well, bloody hell, you play like a little dove angel thing. Just like a birdman with wings. Pretty funny. You shoot stuff out your halo.
I'm gonna get soaked. What else is there to do here?
Very simple stuff. God gives you tasks. Go to hell, kill Satan. There isn't much of a story going on here. It has like a bit of a comedic take on things. But whatever, it's about the game, which is competently done and it's fun. You unlock abilities like a grapple hook and a dodge roll. And you can get like modifier charms for your gun. You can purchase. And then you play like inventory Tetris to fit these in to work well. And you get to make the shape of that grid too. So like you spend your upgrades on those things to make it work, and it's pretty cool. I wish there was a lot more variety with these charms in terms of what they can do to your weapons, but you know, you can do stuff like turn it into a rapid fire thing, a shotgun, homing bullets, bounce off walls, ricochets, that's what that's called. There's one that makes it shoot eggs, so it like hatch chickens on impact. It's kind of funny. There are a few other things you can get yourself. One area you go to in particular is cool because it's like a swamp and it has lily pads that you ride on and you like shoot to push the pads along. I don't think I've seen that in Enter the Gungeon, so it's like a cool mechanic for this kind of game. The grapple looks kind of fun because it uses like velocity transfer when you get your target, and you can do like a roll in the air to extend the range of it and launch yourself to other shit. And yeah, if it doesn't sound like there's a lot to talk about, it's because there's not. It's pretty short. You can beat it in like 3 to 4 hours, and it's free, so not at all an issue, but like, it feels like it ends right when it's getting good, man. I wish there was more content, because I totally would have bought this for like $10 if it was a couple hours longer. It feels solid for the most part. Maybe could have used a little more polish, a little more sound effects on things. Maybe some more enemy variety, but the enemies themselves are all unique at least. And, you know, it's got some fun, unique puzzle mechanics I haven't really seen elsewhere yet. And I just don't think that, like, the game that's basically a roguelike that we've already played, done as a Metroidvania, has been done yet. Just like Cult of the Lamb, you ask yourself, does this need to be a roguelike? Would it work better if it was a more tightly designed thing? I think in the case of Enter the Gungeon, it very well could have worked better as a more tightly designed thing. More of an adventure. And, you know, this is just like a quick little proof of concept. Got some cool music, too. It's not, like, as good as Doom's soundtrack, but it's very reminiscent of it, you know? You got Kmart McGordon, I guess. It's pretty good. And yeah, that was just a wonderful little surprise. Came out on a Sunday. There's an achievement for beating it on a Sunday, but I get home at midnight, so it didn't work out for me. Yeah, whatever. That was like a whole night, and I had a great time. So I just wanted there to be a positive note, considering the two lackluster things I just had to talk about. And we did play the Eternal Cylinder, but we'll talk about that next time. Because that's going to be a long discussion. There's a lot of stuff in that very weird game to talk about. Oh boy, he's getting the points. Oh boy, that was a lot. Still in the lead though. It's a Thouso. I'll take it. Okay. Reroll.
Rivers of blood and
what?
Dolphin stink everywhere.
Oh, that's a reroll. There's another 1,000. Booyah. I'll play safe and cash in on that. Three of a kind, 4 of a kind. That's probably a win. Close. I'll cash in though.
I'm so tired.
I'd have been tight if you rolled again. I only need about 400 points to win. So let's not overdo it.
fighting, never losing, robbing, fucking horse.
Oh, hell yeah.
Losing. Take the women, burn
I
the
just said not to overdo it. I'm sitting on 500.
burning, wrecking, making strife. How sweet it is, a robber's life.
There. Call it. I'm a winner.
Annihilates and pillage. Burning, wrecking, making strife. How sweet it is, a robber's life.
I'm so hungry, I can eat my boots.
Why, did I not get a reward?
No one to rob here. Fucking poor.
Sure ain't easy.
You can go and
I
see
want to
Sir
play
F.
dice. Who will be my opponent?
They fell your way last time, and no mistake. You'll play against Maladota. He's a bit... well... you'll see for yourself.
But they paid chicken. Well, so now it's your turn. What did you do before?
Well,
Lucky.
I made candles for a monastery.
Oh.
You hear that, lads? He made candles so the monks could shove them up their arses.
Take these two.
He deserves no better. I never much liked him. But I didn't think he'd stoop that low.
Washing yourself once in a while.
You wash yourself. My granddad's put around bathing in a pond. I'm not taking the risk. I only wash when it's raining.
You must be chasing women away with a stick.
Oh. Oh my god.
What a shitty day. I need a good scrap to cheer me up.
Okay. Oh, I don't want that.
No one robbed me. Fucking
I've got a piss.
That one's lucky. One's odd. I feel like lucky has better odds for me. That baby.
Filth and stink everywhere. Should have stayed home.
Alright, I'll cash in. Not so far behind anymore.
A good thing too. The less bastards like him there are in the world, the better.
Bro, what the fuck? Is that a straight?
Yeah, I'm gonna get soaked. What else is there to do here?
Rivers of blood and a bloody flood. I'm so hungry I can eat my food.
3 5s and a 1. Give me some 500. Lock it in. It's probably a mistake, but we're not even further behind than we were last time. I feel like this guy's dice are set up to give him rerolls.
I'm so hungry I could eat my life.
Ah. I don't like them probably gonna lose this. Unless I can pull 2,000 points out of my ass real quick.
Take the women, burn the village, drink, annihilate and pillage. Burning, wrecking, making strife. How sweet it is, a robber's life. No one to rob you. Fucking boring. Oh, fucking sickhead. Fucking tense, fucking camp. No more today. I've had enough of this. What a sneaky bastard. He stole the draper's tinderbox, went to the farmhouse, and put the blame on the draper. But he got caught and he had to tell. A good thing too. The less bastards like him.
Alright, this is probably the last turn. I don't know how straights work, but it's like 4, 5, 6 a thing I can do. No. Obviously that help tab, but I don't want to read that again.
No one to rob him. Fucking boy.
14.
I'm so tired. I'm so hungry I can eat my boots. Fucking tents, fucking camp. I've had enough of this shit.
Bugger. Yep. That's a lose.
So hungry I could eat my boots.
Mother of God, he's back again.
I want to play dodge. Maybe this time you'll fare better. Then there's Pekuna. He's a local fellow who brings stuff for us. He put up a nice necklace as his wager.
Oh, okay. I just get to play him at random. This guy's got the necklace. We need to win. Triple.
I gotta piss.
That's a straight, baby. We'll pass.
Killing, fighting, never losing, robbing.
I guess it has to be a pair of 4, if not all 5.
The women, burn the village, drink, annihilate, and pillage. Burning, wrecking, making strife. How sweet it is, rivers of blood and a bloody flood.
6 even, shit.
Why doesn't he go away? As far away as possible.
Sure ain't easy. Fuck.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get soaked. What else is there to do here? I gotta piss.
1, 2, 3, 4. take that.
Fucking weather, fucking tent.
We're doing great.
I've had enough of this shit.
Of course, it only takes one good roll to fuck me over. This guy's wild for rolling a single die. Oh.
Killing, fighting, never losing, robbing, fucking whores and boozing.
Fucking whores.
Drink, annihilates and pillage. Burning, wrecking, making strife. How sweet it is, a robber's life.
What a beautiful little tune he's got. It's like in normal music when they run out of stuff to say and they just go like, tonight. It says fucking, and then you can string it into anything else.
As if we hadn't enough trouble without this.
Oh, hell yeah.
I gotta piss.
I feel like I might be able to get a win out of that turn, but I'm in no rush. Only need 300 points, should be child's play. In fact, we've got it right here, baby. Baby. That's my necklace.
Fucking weather. Fucking tent. Fucking camp. Had enough of this shit.
Oh, Blaha? Blaha Blast?
How did I do? Have I won?
Actually, nobody won. You and Picuna have the same score, so you'll have to play one more game to decide the victor.
Bullshit.
Well, let's play then.
This asshole again.
Yeah, I'm gonna get soaked. What else is there to do here?
Fucking hate Yahtzee. There's too much to do at one time.
And fuck.
Oh, baby, a triple. Keep it going.
What a shitty day. I need it.
Oh, baby, here comes the third set. Oh, baby, here comes a fourth set. But gambling's dangerous. It's just a shitty game until you're winning. I will play it safe and cash in here. Because otherwise I would tear my cock off when I inevitably got a bust.
stink everywhere. Should have stayed home.
Both lucky, so one more roll. Take it.
Rivers of blood and a bloody flood.
Lord, what have I done to deserve this?
Yeah, I'm gonna get.
Got a bust. Fuck.
What else is there to do?
I totally forgot a point I wanted to mention about Ni No Kuni. God damn it. So like the town management, I kind of glossed over and said it was just boring. But you the facts, all right? You're not placing buildings anywhere. They're just little spots that you click on. And it's like, okay, you're gonna build an armory here. Pay the money to build the thing, right? So all your towns are gonna look the same as everyone else's, which kind of takes a lot of the fun out of it. You don't get to pick where everything goes. But also, you pay for it with a special currency called King's Guilders, which you only earn from the town. It just happens over time. From taxes and stuff. And so, because there's a limited storage space on the collections, but not the amount you can actually hold, you just have to come back to the town constantly to collect, and maybe eventually upgrade the coffers to be what feels like increasing your breath meter. You get to play the game for a little bit, and then you have to come back, or you're going to be wasting progress by not collecting any more King's Guilders. So, yeah, it just gives you, like, a sense of anxiety the entire time you're playing. Like, I'm losing money right now. I need to stop with the cutscene. It's too fucking long. I need to get my money. And, yeah, it's just... It feels like you have a breath meter on the entire game, and it's really frustrating. Hinders your enjoyment a fair bit.
Scrap to cheer me up.
That just came to me because, you know, when I was doing that triple re-roll thing just now. You know, the stakes are increasing. I feel like I gotta fold in. Because I'm gonna be pissed when I missed out, you know. It is that same feeling of anxiety creeping up the longer you were playing, I guess.
I just want to eat and sleep. And fuck.
What a shitty day. I need a good scrap to cheer me up. Fucking weather. Fucking tent. I've had enough of this shit.
I'm so hungry.
God damn it. This was going so well at first, and now he's kind of catching back up. Just just need one good turn, though. Maybe two. Alright, one more good turn.
No one to love here. Fucking boring.
Come on, fold, you son of a bitch. You're wild. Don't roll 2 dice. Oh, do you so? You fucking idiot. And that's how you win.
Camp life sure ain't easy. Fuck.
How did I do? Have I won?
Well now, Sir Alphonse, you took 'em all by storm. Here's the key to the prize.
Thank you kindly.
Oh, thank God it's saved. Because I don't know what's going on with this next part. The negotiation. Like, technically, he told me to just not even do it. I can leave since I got my prize, but I need to find the murderer. Is it on the map? Where's my prize? Point A. Okay. I thought that was, what's his face? Third Heart. Yeah, I'm supposed to go talk to. I left the camp. It's just too dark to fucking find where to go. In a building, obviously, but it seems like it's in this rubble.
Fucking weather. Fucking tent. Fucking camp.
That's not a pathway. Are you fucking kidding me? That was real. I wonder what a Canadian night would look like. Obviously, they never got a chance to exist. But I know For Honor had like a fucking Stars and Stripes skin for one of the nights and looked fucking sick. You fucking what? Jesus Christ. Elongated male coif. Money, gloves, silver neck chain. 14 charisma? Is that better than my normal necklace? No, it is not. It's terrible. So that was my objective. Do I even have anything left to do here? Or... guess I should ask around.
I've got a piss.
Yeah, I've got a piss too, dude.
Can I ask something?
I have nothing to do with cheats.
I did not cheat.
Can I have a word with you?
What do you want?
Fucking boring.
What's your story? You don't look like one of them at all.
I ain't, true enough. I'm a local. I don't go raiding with them. When they're here, I just look out for them, bring them supplies and that.
And what do you do when they're not here?
Whatever's needed. But being the go-between for them that set up the ambushes pays well, and you don't have to risk your neck for it.
Can you tell me something about the camp here?
This place? It's been here as long as I can remember. I used to come here as a youngster to play with my mates. Anyway, one time I had to lie low for a bit, so I came here and ran into these gentlemen, who pay good coin when you bring them some wine and a bit of grub.
Why did you have to disappear?
Nothing terrible. Just that I was courting this one girl, only her old man and her brothers didn't take to me. Besides which, she was promised to some rich merchant. Once they had her married off, they forgot about me, though.
I'll leave you to it.
I had nothing to do with the murder.
Can I ask you something?
Ask away.
Tell me something about yourself.
Why do you want to know? You want to spread the word about what a good dice player I am?
Well, I was just curious.
You know what they say. Curiosity killed the cat. But if you must know, they call me Berta. And I'm Sir Erhardt's right-hand man.
Berta?
You heard of me, have you? Yeah. The Scourge of Vlashim. No man who felt the edge of my axe lived to tell the tale.
Is that your axe in the tree back there?
And why are you hiding out here?
I wouldn't call it hiding. We're just having a bit of a rest.
From what?
Things were getting a bit too hot for us. Nobody bothers us here. Just as long as we don't show our faces in Sasau.
I need a good scrap to cheer me up.
Don't you leave the camp at all?
What are you trying to say? That we're shitting ourselves here?
No. I was just wondering if you knew what's going on around these parts.
We come across hunters now and then, or pilgrims on the road. There are charcoal burners nearby. Sometimes they pass the time of day with us. But we've got no cause to cross the river. That's too close to Sasau.
Mordota. You cheated, I'll kill you. What?
Can I ask you something?
Oh, right, that's the guy that beat me with his fucking loaded dice.
You're Mladota, right?
I am. Why'd you ask?
Just curious. This is quite an interesting retreat you men have here.
You could put it that way. I ain't been here long, though. I helped them out of a tight spot and they took me with them.
Is that right? How did that happen?
Well, I was lying in wait for this wagoner, see? Because he'd been mouthing off about me, so I figured I'd take all he had for compensation. Anyway, I'm hiding there in the bushes and I hear this wagon coming, so I jumped out to ambush him. Only it wasn't that wagoner, but some merchant. As soon as he saw me with my weapon drawn, he started screaming bloody murder, and next thing,
his armed escort comes charging up and I was the one ambushed. The injustice of it.
Vexing indeed.
Aye. Anyway, they caught me and took me with them. They figured I was Sir Erhardt's spy, and they wanted me to lead them to him. Of course, I told them I didn't know what the fuck they were on about. So, while they were threatening to break me on the wheel, string me up and what have you, along comes the Baron with his merry band, and they lay into the soldiers and send them running for the hills. And ever since then, I've been riding with them.
That is quite an entertaining anecdote.
Ain't it just? If it hadn't been for me, the fellows would have run straight into a trap and it'd all be up with them. So, it's on account of me, they're still alive.
This guy's the murderer.
And how are things here? Do you get away much?
We ain't allowed to leave. So I've been here the whole time. I don't mind, though. There's always something to pass the time. And we've got that wench.
You're my daughter, right? Just curious.
You could... Ain't it?
That's all.
I did just save after I once. Maybe I'll say that you cheated, and that'll give me an excuse to kill him.
You cheated? I'll kill you.
Ah, a bit of fun for a change. The last fella I killed didn't even see me coming.
You
all right.
bitch.
You win. Now leave me alone.
I'm in no mood for talk. You're dead.
Cover!
Who
are you?
What? Okay. Seems I've messed up. It always takes a while for the files to come in. Maybe because it has to load a crap ton of them is the issue. You'd think it would do it like one profile at a time and just quickly bring up the list of files, but no. Gotta bring up 20-some saves. So I think I just maybe talk to Mladota and then I can go back to the old campsite and get my thing done.
Take the women, burn the village, drink, annihilate and pillage. Burning, wrecking, making strife.
Can I ask?
It is a robber's life.
You're my... Is that... And... That's all. Can I... What? But... No, no.
Okay. I don't know why that map's separate, but I gotta go right here. See if it does what it needs to do. Told me I don't really gotta talk to the guy, so I'm not gonna talk to the guy. I'll let him handle it. Played some dice and I left. Found out who did the thing. Whoa! A fair bit to go this way. Camp. Dead guy. Looks like they cleaned up. Yeah, well, maybe I'll rest until the sun comes out, and then we'll get up and wait so he doesn't yell at us or sleeping in this bed. Some brekkie. And a couple hours to wake up. And maybe I can poke him if he isn't up yet. Hello.
I have good news for you, Sir Anselm. I know who killed your friend. Who was it?
Mladota.
It was Mladota, one of the brigands. How did you find out?
From the boots from the killer.
Basically, the killer confessed to me.
All right. I'll take care of it from here. And I owe you for helping me. Here, Henry, take this. I'm sorry I don't have more on me. But if you're ever in Prague, come and look me up, and I'll see you're well taken care of.
It's been a pleasure, Sir Anselm. Godspeed.
Easy. Alright, let's get the fuck out of here. I don't know if getting on the horse affects my fast travel speed, but I intend to fast travel this time. Because I got a piss, which means we're going back to, going all the way back to Ratai. And we will figure out the rest. We're there. We'll even sleep at the mill since Hans is over here right now. I'm thinking we're gonna get wrapped up in the next part of the quest as soon as I give him the necklace, so I'm just gonna save first and we will take care of that next time. But, you know, this is it, guys. this is our last expansion thing to go through. And I don't know if we'll ever grind out enough money to finish Privet's Labbits, but we tried our damndest. So we will move on with the story, and yeah. We only have like 4 or 5 sessions left in this. Maybe even less, maybe I'm overestimating, but that's what I'm thinking, like long term. Depends how hard we get wrecked when the combat stuff starts. That weapon away, the duelist. Anything else can be sold. Where did I get these cumin shields? Quick nap. Save that data. Save my bladder. Alright guys, well, that's that. I was pleasantly surprised by that final quest from the woman's lot. Like, that half of the expansion was good, and I hope that it sees some justice in the reviews. Even if the Teresa side of things was ass. And, I don't know, we played a lot of dice, which didn't earn us any money, but, you know, whatever. I'm surprised I won that peacefully. I'm kind of curious what would have happened if we went and talked to Earhart, but the guy told us not to, so I just did what I'm told. And we shat on a couple games, which is not the norm for me, but they took so much of my time, I just don't know what else to do. And speaking of taking my time, Hogwarts Legacy comes out in like 2 days, dog. So excited. That's gonna take all my time for a month. The reviews are out, they say it's good, so very excited. It was either gonna be like very laughably bad, like the new movies, they haven't been doing so good, or it was gonna be amazing, as it looked like it would be. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing this week, baby. And I will see you guys when I am able to rip myself away from a screen. Yeah. You know, the usual, in a week. I'm not that irresponsible. Take care, everyone. Holy crap, it's been 4 hours.